Anyway, if you also want to listen to us through our airwaves, that is in Nairobi, it is 88.8. If you're in Mombasa, it is 90.7. If you're in Malindi, 92.1. Lamu, 92.6. And those of you in Garissa, Bahari Yake, you get us on 89.5.
Yesterday, a resident of Garissa did, text us and asked, why are you not giving us traffic updates for Garissa? And I was like, Garissa is the traffic mainly is about camels and maybe.
No. You need to understand. Okay. Garissa is just like great. I've never been. Literally just another paradise.
I've never been, and I've never even seen photos. I think I've seen 1 or 2 news items about Garissa. I've never been there.
You need to do actually this northeastern part of Kenya. Garissa is one of the towns that are of business. Everything.
Evolution is working for them.
It is actually. It is.
Alright. Yes. Counties like Marsabit as well.
Yeah.
I need to visit. Watu wa Garissa tafadhali. Umewambia 89.5 ndio frequency yao.
Yeah, bahari yake.
So what we invite pia. To one of their town halls.
Yes.
We just have camel milk with them.
Yeah.
We experience their traffic,
of course,
and get to know their cuisine. Do you know any cuisines from Garissa?
I need to find out actually, because of course myself I've never been in Garissa, but I'm looking forward to visiting that town. Well, people from Lamu. Lamu also is another town. Yeah, you people, you underrate. It's just underrated.
No. I have seen Lamu on pictures.
And of course, when you talk of traffic in Lamu, that is where we have a lot of donkeys. Yes, and also donkeys in Lamu. Camels.
I heard. I've never been to Lamu. I heard they don't have roads.
No, they do have.
Amani story.
But the villages donkeys in Wengi, and of course the boat. Yes, everything is just beautiful in Lamu. Watu wa Malindi na jua pale na boda.
Yes.
Look. You just do great with them.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we want to look at our website, rgk.co.ke. Like we told you, lots of stories there to you get to see. We also have breaking news, top stories as far as sport is concerned, and politics as well. So, why don't you log on to rgk.co.ke and let's work together. For example, there's a story here that where we were talking about the Deputy Inspector General of Police, that is Lagat, who stepped aside as the probe over Ojwang murder continues. This is a story that, like I said yesterday, is not going away anytime soon. We were with you when this story broke, actually.
Yeah.
And one of the questions people were asking is, why has it taken this long for the DIG to actually accept the situation and just say, you know what, I will leave it to the authorities to handle the situation, ndio kusikwe na utatanishi wowote.
Well, I was looking at the newspapers, and there's this one newspaper I've seen. They've written something about the stepping aside of the DIG.
Right.
And let me look for the newspaper, because it said something with regards to the president. And I'll look for that newspaper. Then I'll explain further about that stepping aside.
So as you do that, let me just read what Tanya Wanjiku of RGK wrote. Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat has stepped aside from office to allow investigations into the death of Albert Ojwang to proceed without interference.
Yes.
Now, Lagat, in a notice dated June 16th, 2025, said the move was a personal decision made in view of his role and responsibilities, and that his deputy will take over until the probe is complete.
Yes, I got the newspaper. It's here. It is the People's Daily.
Okay.
Yeah, the newspaper says that why DIG Lagat had to step aside. It says he bowed out after meeting President William Ruto, who directed him to keep away until ongoing investigations into Albert Ojwang's murder are concluded. That is on page 4 of the People's Daily.
It's been over a week since the story broke about the demise or the murder, because that's what we're calling it, and because that is what it is. Since the murder of that teacher, Mr. Albert Ojwang.
Okay.
It's been over a week that the family has been in mourning, over a week of confusion, over a week of pain. And this is the time, the DIG decided to step aside after meeting the president.
Yeah, according to that
newspaper.
Yes.
Now, do you think, and this, of course, like we've been saying since yesterday, it's a personal decision, and also it's a personal contribution as far as this news item is concerned. Do you think that it had to take a meeting with the president for him to step aside? Isn't this something that should have happened from the moment he was mentioned?
Well, this is just my personal opinion
or
view about this whole story, because I saw yesterday actually has been the turning point of this whole issue.
Right.
Because if you notice, you saw Juang's father. Did you hear what he said?
Well, he's been saying a lot of things. What specifically?
Yesterday, did you hear he appreciated the president for mourning with him?
Right.
And remember, he was given 2 million Kenyan shillings
by the president. From his own personal kitty. Or other pocket.
I don't know, but what I know is after receiving that amount, that is now when I'm seeing things are going to change, because from there he said, now, okay, we are not going to stop this fight, but now what next? God knows. It's all about Mungu sasa hapo atasaidia.
Hivyo ndivyo babake mwenda zake Albert alisema.
It was all over actually.
All right.
Yeah.
One thing.
What do you take out of that?
Well, you see, the president is the commander in chief. He's Kenya One, like we like calling him.
Yeah.
And when he comes down and mourns with a fellow citizen, well, I mean, it's always a good thing.
Yes.
But we also need action to be taken. I just hope this is not one of those situations where you're given 2 million and then another, maybe God knows how many more millions. You remember even the governor of Nairobi said that they're going to educate Ojwang's child up until, I think, university.
Yes.
I just hope that that's not the end of the condolence. We need justice. At the end of the day, justice has got to be served. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. At the end of the day, we need to know who killed Albert, who ordered the death of Albert, why it has taken this long for things to come together. For example, what happened to the CCTV footage, and what happened after, because I hear recovery efforts are actually advancing quite well.
Yes.
Like, we need to understand, for justice to be served, it's not just about shika hii elfu, milioni mbili na kila kitu ikuwe sawa, au tutafunza mtoto wako hadi amalize shule
na kila kitu kibaki tu hivyo.
It's about answers, and it's about what else is going to happen so that we ensure this doesn't happen again. I know the CS for Interior, CS Murkomen, did say that every police station is going to be equipped with cameras so that we can ensure that something of this sort never happens again, and if it happens, at least we have some kind of evidence. What about the cameras in the CBD? Because we have a lot of cameras in the CBD.
Yes, of course.
Yes. They also going to talk about that because a lot of things have been happening in the CBD. People are getting raped, people are getting murdered, people are getting mugged, and we still do not know the perpetrators. Yet we have the CCTV cameras.
Well, I think
number 3. But number 3, we also had a CCTV camera at the police station that Albert Ojwang was murdered.
Actually with the police system, it's more equipments.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And we need to get also people who are in the police force. I know maybe one or two police officers are listening. But we honestly need to train our officers better. And I said this yesterday. Customer care. We are actually their clients. Because we are paying them. Because we are their customers. We are their employers. We are their employers. We are paying them through our taxes. So we need better trained police individuals professionals, people who know how to be courteous, people who know how to even explain to you your rights. Because when Albert Ojwang was being arrested, I don't know, chances are he didn't fully understand, because had he understood the extent of this arrest, Albert Ojwang should have gotten a lawyer immediately. Albert Ojwang should have traveled with at least a family member from where he was arrested all the way to Nairobi. Even if they were not going to travel in the same vehicle, at least at amfuate, So people don't know their rights. Shida ndio iko hapo. We need better customer care from our police officers.
Okay.
Sindio?
Okay.
Still on those matters of the police, CS Murkomen here again on rgk.co.ke says that about all the 1,209 police stations will get CCTV installation as government targets full rollout in 2 years. This is happening in 2 years. So between now and 2027,
yes,
and we don't know whether it's 2027 June 17th. We are not sure whether it's on June 17th 2027 that all of them will be installed, or towards the end of 2027.
Well, I'm looking at the 2025-2026 budget.
Yes.
And you saw that security was one of the top gainers in terms of
their money allocated.
Their allocation, because they really got a good amount. A good allocation,
right.
And therefore that is the reason why you'll hear them talking of installing cameras all over. But as I said, it's not about cameras,
right?
It's about people being accountable. It's about the police being answerable. It's about them working even on their attitude towards the responsibility that Kenyans have given them.
And their height. Let me tell you, have you been to a police station?
Yes.
Umekuwa kule ndani? Now you have to think about that one.
No, you see,
maybe you are there visiting someone.
Okay.
But have you been to the inside of a police station?
Yes, I have been there.
Watch out for OB.
I have been there.
Do you know how unhygienic sometimes those places are?
I know.
The stench in there is just deplorable.
Just on another,
it's horrible.
On another level, actually.
We just need also some kind of hygiene inside the police station.
Hapo na kuunga mkono.
As we install what are they called? The CCTVs.
Yes.
As we teach our police officers to have better customer care experiences.
Yes.
Or rather to provide better customer care experiences. Tafadhali, Bwana Murkomen, CS. Can we just at least have clean police stations?
So unataka maabusu sasa wakae sehemu ambayo ni safi kabisa.
Yes. Why should you go there? You are arrested maybe for I don't know, drunk driving. Let's say that, right?
Yes.
You are arrested for drunk driving.
Yes.
Then ukifika pale unatoka na cholera ama typhoid.
Well, I'm looking at I'm looking at what happens in other countries, and especially like in the US.
Right.
Have you ever seen their prisons? How they look like?
We've seen them through documentaries.
Yeah.
We've seen them through movies.
Yes.
But, you can't really take what you see in the movies to be the true representation.
Yes.
Yes, because in the movies,
but somehow,
of course, because in the movies, it's not like the real police station. It's actually a set they've created to be, to have the function of a police station. Yeah. So, but we've not seen the real ones, so I don't know. But I'm assuming zingekuwa ni chafu, hata kwa movie tungeona zao zikiwa chafu. Yeah, because hata za Kenya, even just the sanitation, toilets ni shida. I don't know if mimi najua watu, nimeenda kutoa watu police station. Mtu ameshikwa.
Yes.
By the time you're getting them out of the cells, wanatoka wakinuka vibaya sana.
Even the hata hapo kwa reception kwenyewe.
Yes. Because
it's just another smell, like ukifika hapo you deep down in your heart,
I think it's part of the punishment.
Down in you, unajua kwamba niko cell ama niko somewhere.
I think it's like part of the punishment. I could be wrong on this.
Yes.
I think they leave it dirty for a reason. Ndio ukiingia pale, unakanyanga vitu watu wameacha huko, and it's just not a good it's not a good feeling to be inside a police station.
Okay, let's hope that this also we'll see some reforms also in that area.
We also need the OB system to be digitized, and I think Tanya Wanjiku has reported that on the website, and this is what the CS was quoted as saying, we shall roll out a digital reporting system. This is a reform that has been initiated, and we are now committed to the digitization of occurrence books to ensure all reported incidences can be traced and be tamper-proof. This is something else that I think I would applaud, because you see, when you report a crime at a police station, what they do is they first of all write on the occurrence book,
OB,
which ni kile kitabu kikubwa tulikuwa tunatumia tukiwa high school for attendance list,
the counter book,
your counter book.
Yes.
And it is easy to tamper with that paper, because once I delete, nikichukua nirarue ile karatasi nivo, it's done, it's gone. You know, so we need a proper occurrence book, and I like what the CS has said, that they're going to digitize this system. I mean, it's 2025. We have AI, we have social media, and we have better systems that we can actually improve, rather employ in our police stations. So I like the fact that we can have this, and also when instead of being given that piece of paper that has got your OB number on it, utumwe hata email. Unaona zile unatumua email kwa email yako, you know, trishawayoa@rgk.co.ke. You
this
know
is what you have done.
Yes.
This is what you're accused of. Well, I'm also looking. I also look at. I'm also looking at how, when you go to the police station, first of all, I don't know whether you have ever been told Kalamu aina wino.
Mara mingi ukienda pale
you're going there to report a case, and then the police tells you that hii kalamu, madam, as you can see, the pen is not working.
So you have to go buy
another. You have to go and buy, and that is one of the channels of corruption.
Yes,
even in the
police station.
Yes.
Well, I've never been told kalamu haina wino, but I have been told
gari haina mafuta.
Nimeambiwa pia karatasi za kuprint
zimeisha.
kuandika kama ni abstract, ama kama ni kuandika, you know, your P3 form, unaambiwa nenda pale kwa cyber, iko hapo nje ya police, ama saa zingine iko ndani ya police station. You go pick out a P3 form from there, and printing a single page they print at 100 bob. Na hizo ni
at the police station.
Na hizo nitaji karatasi ngapi?
3.
So that is
so
how
that
much?
Is a whole 300 shillings you're living there just for one photocopy.
Yes. Na bado utaachia karao ya lunch, akwambia unajua tujakula lunch so cheza kama wewe.
Well, so we are hoping that the reforms that the CS is talking about is really going to change the whole police system. Yes,
so that at least we can you know, have services provided to us in a better way. Because not everyone has got that 300 bob. You know, you're lucky you can find someone like Mungala Mbuvi. But kuna mtu utapata na yeye, someone who is legitimately there and they're going through hell on earth and they just need to be sorted, na unamwambia tu 1300 ama 300. It's not fair. All right, so let's hope, and we shall definitely keep an eye on that one, and we shall be giving you updates as they occur over the next 2 years.
Yes.
Still on Ojwang, if you'll allow me, there's this situation of you know, OCS Talam. Apparently, according to the DPP, that is Director of Public Prosecutions, he says that the OCS Talam interfered with CCTV to obstruct probe into Ojwang's death.
So unfortunate, by the way. It's so unfortunate.
Now, I don't know if you watched, you know, the proceedings of what happened yesterday, and even the other cop. We're going to be talking about him in a couple of minutes. He says that the intention was not to murder Ojwang; it was just to hurt him. And as they even got the other the civilians, who got into the cell with with Ojwang,
those who are used,
and ended up, you know, hurting him to beyond the expected parameters. I was like, kwani walimtandika namna gani?
It was bad. It was bad. I don't know. It's so unfortunate when somebody just says that I was told to do this by so and so. It's so unfortunate.
I think the name of the cop is Mkwana. Mkwana says that sasa amekuwa, they have thrown him under the bus. Because there was an agreement. Apparently he spoke with his OCS. OCS akamwambia kila kitu kiko sawa, wewe usijali. I got you.
And then later on he realizes that I'm alone.
Last minute anaona headlines. Ati he's the one who did this. And he's like, bro, you're the one who told me to do this. You know?
But you as a Kenyan also, why would you be used to do such a thing?
You know, I don't want to talk on his behalf,
Yeah.
because obviously he will go through this court process, and he's probably gonna tell us more about what exactly happened. But you know, cops are usually, they have been trained to follow instructions. They've been trained to follow orders, and he was given an order.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it was the wrong kind of order, and he followed it to the letter.
Okay.
And I know at one point they even taught in the police training that sometimes hata ukipatiwa an order to no, this is not making sense. For example, if you're told shoot to kill civilians at a protest, of course you don't do it, you know. But this gentleman, this officer, unfortunately was given an order, and if it is true what he's saying,
It's so unfortunate.
Again, police need to go for retraining. Me, I insist. Makarao wanafaa ku retrainiwa.
Warudi shule.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they need to unlearn, then relearn. Yes. They unlearn what they were told. Because you know, even their training ikwangi ya kawaida, it's very rough.
Yes.
Even psychologically they are tortured so that they can be tweaked to become the kinds of police officers that we're seeing today. I have friends who are cops.
Yeah.
Even some in the military. Wanasemanga, my friend, when you're going for that training, the moment you ukiingia kiganjo hivi, ukitoka you're a different person.
You are a different person.
Yeah.
So I think so the training should just be all round. Unajua sasa sana wakifundishwa pale, umefundishwa kushika bunduki, umefundishwa kushika maabusu.
Ndio.
But now there's something else about now your attitude towards you, and that is what we really request that it be considered as they are getting trained.
Yeah, and also I think they are usually taught an accent in there, because all of them have got a way they just talk to you. I don't know. I don't want to do that accent right now on air, but I think that also needs to be changed. Okay. Because it doesn't matter what kind of cop you are, whether you're a Kisi, a Kamba, a Kikuyu, a Luo, they always come out of there with one accent, and it's just weird. Anyway, you were saying something.
Yeah, on other news yesterday, we saw some news about Kenya being involved in the Sudan conflict. Do you remember we were talking of arms that have been traced back to Kenya? Yes. Now, I can see addressing the media on Monday, Dr. Mwaura emphasized that Kenya's involvement is strictly diplomatic, focusing on mediating between the rival groups in Sudan in an effort to broker a ceasefire.
Yes, I saw that. They're insisting that they have not done anything wrong. Yeah. That they are just, there to ensure that there's a peace in, the Sudan region. Yes. I don't know. What do you believe those words, considering we found arms in the name of Kenya in Sudan?
So now, according to the newspaper yesterday, to the news yesterday, we saw it said that the arms could be traced back to Kenya, to the Kenyan government. So now, he has come out to say that.
Right.
Kenya is not involved. It's only involved in ensuring that there's peace.
I would want to put my sentiments on this particular situation.
Yeah.
But it might come out as politically incorrect. But what I will say is that if we're going to be lying to the public, we need better lies. Yes. There's no way utakuja kuambia an entire population of 2 countries that your role there is just mediation, we're ensuring peace, yet tunapata makombora huko, tunapata risasi, tunapata bunduki huko, zimeletwa kutoka serikali ya Kenya.
It's so unfortunate, this is a story that has always been there all the way from last year.
Yes.
Na serikali imekana kabisa kwamba sisi tunahusika.
Hapana. Hapana.
Imekana kabisa.
Tunaweza kataa, lakini watu si wajinga. Kuna msanii alisema bwana, wa Kenya si wajinga bwana.
Sisi si wajinga bwana.
Wa Kenya na pia watu wa Sudan si wajinga bwana.
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, it's 1:30. I think it's time for the traffic updates. We need to let you know what is happening on the roads, so that as you're moving around, you can know where exactly you need to move, which roads to avoid, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's see what's happening on the roads.
Traffic.
All right, nikiangalia this road called Ngong Road, a little bit of traffic there, especially if you're coming towards the Nairobi Funeral Home, heading into town. Things are not looking good for you. If you're coming from Lenana School, that means you're coming from Karen area, getting into, trying to get into the Nairobi CBD via that particular road. Things are bumper to bumper. Mombasa Road, not looking bad. I can tell you if you're coming from Kitengela, getting into that road that leads all the way to Kabana, things are looking good. But from General Motors, if you can actually take the expressway, that is better for you.
Yes, Thika Road all the way through KCA, everything is okay. Just some traffic as you head towards town, that is around Ngara area. And then Jogo Road all the way clear up to City Stadium and also through Mudhurwa. I can see there is a lot of traffic there, by the way, but everything is okay on the other part of the road. Going all the way to Garissa. Garissa wamesema kwamba kila kitu iko shwari, by the way, within town. I need to get the name of this road whereby naambiwa kwamba this is where kuna a bit of a snarl up. I need to get the name of that road.
Yeah.
And then all the way to Mombasa, lights Kengeleni, all things are clear. Wanasema bado ni mapema, by the way. Traffic bado ija mount, so we understand. All the way to ferry Ziponne, everything is clear. That is at the ferry crossing channel.
All right, so I guess that's your traffic update. Do stand by because we shall be giving you another one in the next 1 hour, that is at 7:30 o'clock. But if there's any incidences you think we need to know about, please let us know via Radio Gen KE on social media. That is on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok as well. Back to the stories that are making headlines or have been making headlines in the last couple of hours. We just touched on what the government said about Sudan,
Yes.
despite what the public seems to be knowing.
Yeah.
So that is something that we shall definitely be tackling, hopefully in a positive manner the next time we talk about it.
So do you remember the story of baby Pendo?
Yes, I do remember Pendo.
You remember that case is still in court?
Yes.
So as of yesterday, 4 police officers charged in connection with the death of baby Pendo were released on a cash bail of 1 million. Yeah? Each 1 million. The court further directed that each of the accused must provide 2 sureties, each valued at 500,000 shillings.
Just come back again. The court said what about who?
Yeah, the court further directed that each of the accused, that is the four police officers, they must provide 2 sureties, each valued at 500,000 shillings.
500,000.
Yes.
Aye.
And then a cash bail of 1 million.
Yes.
And then these are some of the things you need to understand about that baby Pendo case. That they've been instructed not to interfere with witnesses, victims, or evidence. They have been barred from visiting crime scenes.
Right.
They must remain within court jurisdiction. They must attend all court sessions. That there should be no sharing of case related info, that is including witnesses and victim contacts. That they must surrender their passports.
Okay.
Then report to IPOA every 3 months until the case ends.
Every 3 months?
Yes.
3 months is enough time for someone to disappear.
Yeah.
Between the first time I reported and the next time I report. 3 months. Inafaa kukua every 5 p.m. Even if they'll do it via Zoom.
So the next mention actually is scheduled for the 2nd of July 2025. And then now, you ask yourself, this case has been in court for a very long time.
It has been in court for a very long time.
What is happening?
But also it is because it was a very sensitive case. Involving an infant. Of course, there was a situation whereby, even just getting witnesses to verify their information was a bit problematic. So it kind of took long because of some of those reasons. However, I don't feel like it should take any more time. It's been now how many years? Almost 5.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I think now the justice system in our country is really wanting.
They need to definitely check on that one. There's a story here that is making headlines as well. Like I told you, you can go to rgk.co.ke, check out the top stories, and this one is about Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo has reaffirmed that June 25th, 2025 will be marked as a public holiday in remembrance of the young Kenyans who lost their lives during the 2024 anti-government demonstrations, despite the lack of official recognition by the state. In a message shared via his official X account on Sunday evening, Kalonzo urged citizens across the country to join in honoring the fallen youth. He also encouraged participants to carry a rose and a candle as a symbolic gesture of remembrance, adding that flowers would be laid along Parliament Road and candles lit in tribute. Kalonzo underscores the significance of the day, saying it serves as a moment to reflect on the sacrifices made by the youth in their pursuit of justice and economic equity. Do you remember where you were on 25th of June?
Yes.
I remember where I was.
Yes.
I remember where I was. I was actually in my living room.
Yeah.
Watching everything unfold. Yeah. And that particular day, nilikuanga na kazi mingi sana. I was doing online.
Okay.
And I remember everywhere I looked, I just saw, breaking news, protesters and how just, Nairobi CBD was just unfolding and how crazy it got. And later into the evening is when we started getting reports of people being, having been hurt.
Yes.
And then now we got that, story about Rex and how he had been killed. And I remember the first thing that just got into my stomach was that, maji baridi. And I was asking, Kwani, what was this protest all about? I thought it was just an anti-finance bill protest. Then someone ended up dying. Now, Wiper leader Kalonzo saying that people should go to should not go to their businesses on that day. They shouldn't go to work on that particular day. They should focus on just remembering the fallen youth. I feel like that's a very strong message. Yeah. If you ask me.
Okay, and personally, first of all I would say, he has declared it as a public holiday.
Yeah, amesema. Of course, he doesn't have the power to declare public holiday. That can only be done by the CS.
Yes.
After approval from
the
president.
So that was, first of all, that was my question.
Yes.
Yes. At June 25th.
Yes.
As a public holiday, and requesting that everybody comes out.
Yes.
Well, it is okay to mourn. It is okay. You have to have that walk
right
within a town everywhere. But then now, where I will have a problem with Mngala is when now this that simple walk will turn out to be, if it turns out to be chaotic, yeah? Like we saw the other day.
So June 25th, I'll just check in my calendar.
Yes.
Will be on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
That is actually Wednesday next week.
Yes.
And that's the day that the opposition has declared should be marked as a public holiday. He didn't say that it is a public holiday.
Or it should be marked.
Yeah, he has said it should be marked as a public holiday.
Okay, I get you.
In an earlier statement, he did say that hiyo siku watu wasiende kazini. Msifungue biashara zenu. Let's focus on the fallen youth.
Well, now we will be marking 1 year, right?
Yes.
Since that day.
Right.
And then now, what we need to ask ourselves, I think even as the leaders, as opposition leaders, as the government, even sisi kama wananchi, what we need to ask ourselves is, was all that worth it? What have we achieved from then?
The question that I would ask myself is, was it necessary? Even just the other day when people took the streets because of this whole Albert Ojwang story, we saw police officers came out, they threw tear gas. Then I don't know if you're aware of this, that some vehicles were burned.
Yes, I saw.
And now the part where I'm asking if you're aware of is some Kenyan citizens, as we like to call them, netizens, did their investigation.
Yeah.
And they found out that the vehicles that apparently were burnt were insurance salvaged vehicles. That means they did not belong to anyone specifically. They were vehicles that were discarded because of accident.
So why were they there?
na watu wakafuatilia mpaka hizo number plates na wakarealize that these vehicles were previously owned but they now belong to the, for lack of a better word, they belong to the trash. Let me call it
they
trash.
They belong to the streets.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying about? Personally, I don't want to say anything about it, but then what I would request is you can just dig deeper, because a lot will be said outside, by the way. People will say a lot of things. Then we just need to get the truth about those vehicles, because you don't tell me, because you won't tell me that a vehicle was just laying there in town. It did not belong to anyone. It was just there,
and here's a
waiting
funny,
to be burnt down.
This is the funny part.
Yeah,
those both vehicles, I think they were like what, 3 vehicles or 2 vehicles? Yeah,
2. Yes.
There's, it cannot be a coincidence that moja ilikuanga ya salvage na ingine ilikuwa ya salvage. Hata tukipata moja ni ya salvage but ingine ni legitimate, it belongs to Patricia Wayoa, for example.
Yes.
Or Mungala Mbuvi, for example.
Yes.
But the fact that zote zilipatikana zote ni za salvage, unaona hapo kidogo. Now let me tell you, Kenyans ni wanoma kuliko DCI. Kenyans, Wayoa today, if they want to find out about you, they will dig so deep.
Yes.
Hata wewe mwenyewe utakuja kujua vitu zako ulikuwa umesahau.
Watanikumbusha.
Watakwambia unakumbuka wakati fulani when you were 3 years old.
Yes.
You had,
this is what you did.
You remember ulienda nursery mahali fulani mpaka you're like, haya, by the way ni ukweli. Yeah, so Kenyans, that's what they did. And they found out that indeed things were not right about those vehicles. Someone else who is saying that June 25th should be marked as a significant day,
yes,
is former CJ Maraga. Yes, who of course has been calling for the longest since this particular debacle of Albert Ojwang started. He's been calling for the prosecution of DIG Langat over the murder of Albert Ojwang. He's gone on also to blame President Ruto for the death of Albert Ojwang, saying that the president should take responsibility because yeye ndiye ana command the police force, number one.
Yes.
Na yeye ndiye amewashow from his own words that abductions are okay. There are no consequences to abductions. Because if we are being honest,
yes,
since June 25th, when people were abducted, killed and whatever, and of course we suspect the police up to today,
yes,
being the 17th day of June 2025, no single police officer has been arrested apart from now akina Osies Talam na akina Mukwana na wale wengine wameshikwa. Those are the only people that have been arrested. But if we go back for the death of Rex, no one has been arrested. For the abductions of all the others, no single police officer or anyone for that matter, civilian or otherwise, has been arrested. So CJ Maraga anasema, this is on you, Mr. President. This is 150% on you. So let's see what happens on the 25th of June, that is this year, next week on Wednesday. And if you do decide to partake in this particular marking of this day as a public holiday, what we shall request you, number 1, be very peaceful. Comply with the authorities.
Yes.
Askari wakikwambia msipite hapa, tafadhali msipite.
Yes.
Because we have learned one thing: these people just look for an excuse to do the unimaginable.
Well, my message will just be a question to each and every one of us. The Kenyan netizens, and then also the government, the opposition. I will ask people, just you sit down and ask yourself, as a government, the Gen Zs protested. They had issues that they wanted them worked on, right, addressed. Then the question to the government is, what have you done? Did you address all these issues that the Gen Zs had, as we are marking now 1 year? Then now to the opposition, I also would like to ask them, was it worth it? To the Gen Zs, some of the things that happened that day, was it worth it?
Yeah.
So I think that is the biggest question that we should ask ourselves. The other day I saw a story about, I think this guy is from, is it Nyeri? Whose leg was amputated, and it was out of the Gen Z's mandamano of last year.
Yes.
And right now, he cannot fend for his family.
You can imagine.
Yeah, he was
Lives
crying
have
and
been
even
changed.
and even saying sometimes even contemplates of committing suicide.
Because
that is as a result of...
He feels useless now.
Yes, that is as a result of June 25th, 2024.
Last year.
Yes. So we just want us to ask ourselves, like, what did we achieve from this? If it is the government, did you address all these issues that led to this? If it is the Gen Zs, you sat down, you saw where you went wrong, where you did right. You just can sit down and evaluate yourself.
Right.
Yes.
All right. There's something I also want to ask you. This is a different angle about this whole situation. We know that in the past, when Raila Amolo Odinga would ask for public holiday,
yes,
it would happen.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
When Raila alikuwa anasema siku fulani tutafanya observation fulani,
it would happen.
Mfunge duka zenu.
Yes.
People would actually do it. Some because they respect that particular directive.
Yeah.
Others out of fear.
So are you saying Kalonzo Musyoka?
Mimi sitawadanganya. Before we get to mimi sitawadanganya.
Yes.
Every time he would say that, mimi nilikuwa nina observe out of fear. Yes. I will not come to the CBD and be stoned or shot or tear gassed or my car vandalized. You get?
Yes.
Yeah. So me, I did it out of fear. See at out of it, we needed a public holiday. No. Yeah. But of course there are those ones who did it because, you know, Baba Damu, sisi ni ODM Damu. So do you think hapa Kalonzo akona hiyo authority ya kucommand?
That is what I wanted also to ask you, because you're the one who brought this up.
Yes.
I wanted to know, like, so you feel that Kalonzo, now that Kalonzo is asking for this day,
I don't feel anything
to be marked.
I'm asking.
Okay, to be marked as a significant day in our country. Do you think people will be coming?
I don't know. I mean, this is now a game of waiting to see. Hapa hakuna, otherwise wacha tuone kama people will actually follow his declaration, because if it does, you know what that means? It means that his voice is now more significant than we thought.
Well, and again, you know, we also looking at you remember for this protest to be done, Gen Zs, they said they are leaderless.
Yes.
Nobody's telling them. Nobody's telling them to go to the streets.
Right. But remember,
they never wanted any involvement by either the government,
political elite.
Yes, just anyone in politics. They didn't want that.
Let's remember.
So now,
one thing.
Why are we combining these two things?
Let's remember one thing.
Yes.
Kalonzo here is not talking to the Gen Zs. Kalonzo here is talking to Kenyans.
Okay.
Of all ages.
Yeah.
From my grandmother.
Yes.
To my daughters.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If we said so, then it's okay.
So yeye anasema, anaambia wa Kenya, let's observe. So that means hata watoto msiende shule. Because that is what happens on a public holiday.
Yeah, sure.
Akina mama msiende sokoni. Akina baba msiende kazi. So let's wait and see, because, and I can assure you this, if it actually happens, if Kenya comes to a standstill on 25th of June 2025,
yes,
that means it means something significant as far as Kalonzo's leadership is concerned in the opposition.
Just say something critical or important or significant in 2027 elections.
Of course, because we are gearing up towards the general elections.
Yes.
However, if people don't listen to him, if people go to work, children go to school, akina mama mwende sokoni, akina baba mwende kwa mijengo na kazini zenu,
yes,
it also means something different.
Kwa vyovyote vile, it means something. It means something.
That is why when he declared 25th, you know, now he has time to plan this thing. Yes. You know, kitambo Raila did not plan anything. Alikuwa anasema tu because mikakati ilikuwa inajipanga tu hata bila yeye kusema.
Yes.
So let's wait and see. You can actually give us your feedback, guys, on our social media pages. That is at Radio Gen KE across all of them. Like I said, Instagram, X, Facebook, and where else? TikTok.
Yes.
Let us know what you think as far as that is concerned. You can DM, you can comment. Let us know, because this one is definitely a significant step towards the political future of this particular country. Can we cross borders kidogo?
Yes, yes.
We go to a place called Tanzania.
Yeah.
Now, Tundu Lissu is to represent himself in the treason case against this issue in Tanzania. And I'll just say this. Me, I find it very laughable. But anyway, let me just read this a little bit. Tanzanian opposition leader Tundu Lissu has told the court that he will represent himself in a treason case, accusing authorities of denying him access to legal counsel since his arrest in April. Treason in Tanzania carries the death penalty. Now, Lissu, a senior figure in the Chadema party, made the declaration on Monday before a packed courtroom, saying that he had not been allowed to consult privately with his lawyers during the 68 days he has been in custody. Lissu also revealed that he has been placed in the prison's death row wing despite not being convicted. I am under constant surveillance by day and night, he said, also stating that he had been denied his right to worship.
It's so unfortunate what is happening to our neighbor country.
And just to add on to the last part of this particular story, Chadema was barred from taking part in the upcoming October elections after it declined to sign an electoral code of conduct. Lissu, known for his sharp criticism of the government, has insisted that his party will not take part in any election without electoral reforms. He appeared in a court wearing a shirt printed with the words "No reforms, no elections."
No elections.
Okay. Over to you. What do you think about Tundu Lissu and this whole issue of, treason? And now he's facing the death penalty. Personally, I find it crazy.
Well, I feel that especially these African countries, East Africa, there's just a culture that is developing.
What
and
culture
it is
is
so
this?
dangerous. It's so dangerous, by the way.
Yeah.
Anytime we are towards elections,
Things just happen.
Things just happen.
Yeah.
If you are if you're pointing fingers to the government, then you risk, if you want to take part in that election, you risk being barred from participating.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Tundu Lissu, he's talking of reforms. And actually, that is what most of these East African countries are lacking. You see, it is the same problem with Kenya. It's the same problem with Uganda. Same problem with...
electoral reforms.
Yes, electoral reforms in all these countries. Because we want fair elections.
Have you ever heard of elections in Sudan?
Yeah. No, Sudan...
Have you heard of elections in South Sudan?
South Sudan, just... leave that story alone.
Have you heard of elections in Ethiopia? Have you heard of elections in Eritrea? Have you heard of elections in Djibouti? But you will always hear of elections in Tanzania.
In Tanzania.
You will always hear of elections in Rwanda.
Yes.
You will always hear of elections in Uganda. Why are these three countries very, very noisy when it comes to the elections? And I'm not saying that the rest are perfect. Of course, we know of the issues happening in those countries. Yeah. But I usually ask myself, why do we have why are these elections in those particular three countries specifically always mad with controversy and sometimes, of course, violence? And
that is why I told you there is a culture that is cropping up in these especially these three countries. Add Rwanda. I add Rwanda to that list. Yes. But you see, at least for Rwanda, hakunanga violence. Utasikia opposition leaders sijui ameshika amekamatwa akatupwa tear gas, sijui mara ametandikiwa wapi. But in Uganda, for instance, Besigye sijui mara alifanywa nini. Bobby Wine. Haya, ukikuja hapa Kenya, unasikia mara for the longest time, Baba. For the longest time. Yes. Baba, we have seen what has been happening. Yeah? Right. We have been here, we've been seeing what has been happening. Look at now Tanzania, the same thing. Tundu Lissu right now, how many months to the elections? October. Ukihesabu nyuma about maybe 3 months. Yes. So itakuwa ni hivi, in out. And now look at his case. Yeah. Look at that case. It's crazy, eh? Yeah. It's crazy. He's been denied whatever he wants, like people to represent him. You get, and he said, I will represent myself. Yeah. It's so unfortunate. I'm also looking at there's also some news about also Uganda. You look at our website. Right. There's also some news there about Uganda passing that law allowing allowing our Kenyans, the citizens, also to be tried in those other courts.
In those countries.
Wait, I check for that that news. It is in our website, that is at rgk.co.ke.
Right.
You get there, there's some news there about Uganda having passed that law to have
citizens of other countries.
Yes. No. Uganda having signed into law an amendment that will allow civilians to be tried in a military court under certain circumstances.
Civilians in a military court?
Yes.
Like now what? Treason?
Look at the case of Besigye.
Yes.
You remember the
but you know Besigye is actually a former military person.
But he is a civilian as we speak.
Yes.
He as of that time he was taken to the military court.
Yes.
He was just a civilian.
He was actually President Yoweri Museveni's doctor at the time of his military service.
Yes.
Yeah, but I guess they're trying him because of his military background. And the reason why we have military courts, by the way, it is because the training of a military service person is different from just being a normal civilian, and that means that there are certain laws, there are certain kinds of discipline that you're expected to uphold, as opposed to Paul Mongala Mbumbi, who's just a normal civilian. So I guess, and I'm not saying that I am agreeing with this particular situation, but I guess they used that just to try and get him and intimidate him, perhaps, maybe. I'm not in Uganda. I will not pretend that I understand the laws there of that country, but we know also the leadership there is crazy. It's not the same as the leadership in other African countries. President Museveni has been there for a very long time, and I'm planning to go to Uganda one of these fine days na Mr. Hikushikwa nikuwe tried in a military court. So mambo ya Uganda ndaiachia hapo for now. Yeah. All right. So guys, we're just about to get into the top of the hour, give you some news updates. As we do that, let me see. We have on our social media pages.
Yes.
We need to give a few shoutouts, na kuna watu wamekuwa loyal from day one. Kwanza walikuwa wanasema, we cannot wait for tomorrow morning 6 a.m. We're going to be going together sako kwa bako, bumper to bumper. So thank you so much for being with us thus far. Let me just start with Chungu Mutisia. How are you doing? Anasema sharp as a whip. Thank you very much. Julius Babake Bromo anasema good morning na ametuwekea hapa hivyo a sunshine. Thank you so much for coming through. Then we do have, it's Mama Baraka. How are you doing? A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bridget Matei, asante na sana. Mangidi Junior, asanti. Professor Engineer Lamek, a very nilienda na Lamek shule moja, tulienda naye Kenyatta University.
Okay.
Tukifanya biotechnology pamoja.
Yes.
I guess a lot of people did know that, yeah?
Okay.
So we have also another scribe and a journalist, Morris Engera Yasereta. Thank you so much for coming through. Alice Karaoke, good morning to you. Eunice Wamboy, amesema we have missed you, welcome back. Thank you so much. Alfred Mutua, lakini usiwile Alfred CS.
See you later.
Ni Alfred W. Mutua.
Yes.
Anasema, should I read this in Kikamba?
No.
Anasema kisomo kiema. I'm assuming that's how it should have said it, but
okay.
Yes, Alfred, thank you very much for coming through. Jeff IG, you're saying welcome. Thank you so much. Paul Muli, also saying welcome. Asante sana. Ben Muriuki ametuma pale claps kwa wingi. Asante sana Ben. Professor Engineer Lamek nimekutaja hapo. Thank you so much. Umesema tuko hapo and locked. Correyes Risi, good morning. Anasema nikuje tuendelee. Asante sana for coming through. Chris Kinyangai, asante. David Maingi, how are you doing? Agnes Kiarie saying congratulations. Thank you so much. Nelly Mwangi also saying congratulations. This is Nelly Mwangangi, sorry. Nelly Mwangangi saying congratulations. Thank you so much. Mary Marie, congratulations as well. Asante sana. Sebastian Loggins anasema congrats bro. Wycliffe Otieno Odipo anasema welcome aboard. Huyu anasema welcome ni kama alikuanga hapa. I think alikuanga hapa
Well, I'm also on my side. I'm seeing somebody by the name of Dominic Kate who is saying is tuned in. There's Edgar Otieno, anasema representing Nairobi, but in Mombasa currently. And then there is also Solomon, anasema bahari yake. Sema bahari yake. Then there's also Dominic. I talked of Dominic Kate.
Yes.
Then there's David Mwicha. He's also saying, say hi to me on air.
All right. Thank you so much. We're getting into the news right now, but do stand by because when we come back, more stories that are trending and making headlines.
It's 7 o'clock.
Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno. The funeral date for the late blogger Albert Ojwang will be announced later according to his father Meshach. Meshach says he will continue the pursuit for justice over his son's death. Speaking from his home in Homa Bay County yesterday, the grieving father said the decision was necessary, given the national attention his son's death has drawn. Ojwang died in police custody earlier this month after being arrested in connection with a social media post.
Niliondoka hapa ikiwa nimemfuata Albert, akiwa ni mgonjwa, akiwa ameshikwa na polisi. Lakini habari nilizopata huko ni jana ndio nimeleta habari kwa watu wa Kakosi na Kokwanyo kwa ujumla kwamba Albert ameaga dunia. Kwa hivyo ni wakati wa maombolezo.
Meshach added the family has received support from both President William Ruto and ODM Chief Raila Odinga.
Namshukuru rais kwa kuchukua kijana wangu Albert Omondi kama kijana wake na kuhisi kuona kitu. Sababu wengi wameaga dunia jana, hata juzi, hata wiki jana. Lakini alichagua kuchukua mzigo huo kama wake ili akaweze kusema pole kupitia kwa simu yangu. Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga ambaye pia ni mzee wetu alichukua fursa ya kunipigia simu akiwa nje ya nchi.
The government has denied claims it's playing a direct role in fueling the conflict in Sudan. Addressing the media on Monday, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura says Kenya's involvement is purely diplomatic. He said Kenya is focusing on mediating between the rival groups in Sudan in an effort to broker a ceasefire. He added that Kenya's peace efforts are being guided by the framework of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development.
So there have been peace efforts. In February 2025, the Sudan Founding Alliance, including RSF, signed the Sudan Founding Charter in Nairobi to form a peace government. A transitional charter followed in March, and RSF declared a government of peace and unity in April 2025. So there are regional and international dynamics on the same. There are external actors.
728 non-compliant health facilities have been shut down across the country, while 301 others have been downgraded. This comes as the government intensifies efforts to weed out unlicensed and substandard service providers. Health CS Aden Duale said the closures are meant to remove quacks from the industry and restore public confidence in health services. He said the ministry will continue the crackdown on unlicensed facilities.
And we will go to all counties and all constituents and all wards. And I really want to ask the Kenyan people to report two things. One, if they see a facility that don't qualify to be called a health facility, report those fake facilities, report those quack doctors and healthcare workers who are treating our patients and who are risking their lives.
All gold mining sites within West Pokot County have been shut down with immediate effect. West Pokot County Commissioner Abdullahi Khalif stated that the decision arises from rising cases of fatalities and wanton environmental degradation linked to unregulated mining. Khalif said the ongoing unregulated mining activities have not only endangered human lives, but also polluted local water bodies.
The government has directed the closure of all mining sites within West Pokot County. There are over 500 gold mining sites in areas of Kambi Karai, Laminyausi, along Takwel River, Seker. There are also mining sites in Pokot North, areas of Kasei, Kiwawa.
And finally, the UNHCR has carried out a review of its activities, expenditure, staffing and structures following a plunge in humanitarian funding. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has been among a host of UN and private aid agencies badly hit by funding cuts by the United States. The US, which was by far the agency's biggest donor, has slashed its foreign aid under a radical spending review ordered by President Donald Trump. Other countries have also cut humanitarian spending. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno.
Radio Generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the
sBreakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. We are indeed the home of hard truths and bold insights. My name is Mungana Mbuvi, and this is Radio Generation. I'm with Trisha. Trisha, once again, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Trisha Owayua, and you're listening to the People's Breakfast. But this is where we give you an opportunity also to give out your views, reviews, opinions about so many things that are happening in our country and even without our country outside. Yeah. So this is where you get all the truth and actually bold insights.
That's very true.
And remember, if you want to tune in Nairobi, it is 88.8. That is on your FM. If you want to tune in all the way from Mombasa, 90.7. All the way from Malindi, 92.1. People of Lamu, it is 92.6. And people tuned in Garissa, it is 89.5 Bariake. If you want to follow us on our social media pages, that is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that is X, YouTube. You will find us at Radio Generation Kenya.
All right, it's now 6 minutes past 7 o'clock, and we are going to be doing the paper check. I'm looking at the Daily Nation. And I'm thinking maybe we should start with the Standard, because the Standard has got a very interesting headline, yeah? But we shall get to that later on, right? Let me take a look at the Daily Nation, and this is what they're saying. How Lagat fell is what is on the front page. Murder twist, constable amends statement, implicates bosses in Ojwang's police cell death. That is on pages 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they're asking, is this the end of the road? The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Lagat, finally yields to sustained public pressure and steps aside to allow for investigations into the killing of teacher cum blogger Albert Ojwang in police custody. What started with a defamatory post on social media now threatens to end the career of the police force's second in command, while stoking anger over extrajudicial killings and President William Ruto's regime.
This is what the Standard newspaper says, and I see the photo of DIG there, Lagat, and this is what it says: no, just resign.
Yes,
no, just resign. And it says, even as Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat announced that he was stepping aside following pressure over the killing of Albert Ojwang, after his name repeatedly came up in the matter, public anger only intensified.
Right.
Many now demand his resignation and prosecution, like others already in court. Kenyans remain steadfast in their push for justice. They see through the familiar tactic. I want you to get that. They see through the familiar tactic of diffusing outrage with symbolic gestures. That is, stepping aside only to be quietly reinstated later.
I think we said this in the last hour.
Yes.
That we hope that indeed justice will be served. Sikupena to 2 million bob, like you said, the president gave the family of the late Albert Ojwang. Sakaja Johnson, the governor of Nairobi, did offer to educate this child all the way till university, I think.
Yes, they did also promise constructing them a house, a home.
So let's like you've said, I hope it's just not one of those issues where tunafanya vitu tu za kufunika watu hapa macho, you know, smoke screen, like a lot of people would like to say. I just hope that at the end of the day, they actually do what they say they are going to do. So let's wait and see. Like I said, this is a game of waiting and seeing.
So there's that bold word that you need to note. Quietly reinstated later.
Yeah.
That is the fear of Kenyans, that they'll just, they feel like he just stepped aside. Then, For now.
Baadaye tutamuona huko hivyo jamaa akipeana orders. You know?
And by the way, that is what most Kenyans have really been mad about, what has been happening, or what they feel could be happening. That most of the time, if a police officer has been caught in this kind of matters, you are told, most of them, you are told that they have been transferred. Umefanya makosa hapa. Instead of tackling that problem here, solving that problem, una transfer the
blame.
Yes.
Una transfer the individual.
Yes.
Unampeleka kama alikuwa Nairobi,
umempeleka Central
kama venye walifanyia Samido.
Yeah.
You saw what they did to Samido.
Unapelekwa Central. So if you're taken to Central,
Yeah.
has justice been first of all served for what you've done?
Good question.
Have you been held accountable for what you've done?
Yeah, and that is why I said I hope whatever they decide to do later on, justice needs to be served, and it needs to be seen that it has been served. You know, not just serving it and then tunasema ala kumbe ilifanyika sangapi. We need like it to be documented vizuri sana. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. There's a story here that I would like us also to take a look at. Dying for treatment, how SHA is killing kidney failure patients. This story is on page 10 of the health pullout on the Daily Nation. And this is what it says. SHA's new payment plan has turned what was once a manageable healthcare arrangement into a death sentence for thousands of vulnerable Kenyans. And I'll open that story real quick. It's on page 10 of the Daily Nation. Wanasema hivi. Dialysis patients, new health payment system, a death sentence. Because why? Grace, apparently this is not her real name, has cheated death 3 times a week for the past 3 years. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, she arrives at one of Kenya's leading referral hospitals where machines cleanse her blood of toxins her failing kidneys cannot filter. It's a routine that has kept her alive since her kidneys failed until last week when everything changed. They told me I must pay the full year upfront, over 10,000 Kenya shillings, before I can get dialysis again. This is according to the 44-year-old patient. Where will I get that money? I can barely afford my monthly payments. Yeah? So suddenly unaambia mtu alipe SHA yake in advance 10k.
Yes.
44 years. This person has been ailing for the last 3 years. Suddenly you're changing things. I mean, I just want to understand, and I guess one of these fine days we shall be inviting a CS or a PS or just someone in government.
We need also to have the CEO of SHA.
Of SHA, yes, yes. Mrs. Mwangangi.
We really need to understand this whole thing, because most of the time you hear people, some she is working for them, right? Others it is not. So we want to get the truth, right, from the right person actually. Yes.
So when we are telling patients, Kenyans, of some of these changes, why is it always like a last minute thing? Bwana tusiambie watu kuanzia January 2026 you will have to pay the entire year upfront. Ndio mtu between now and January ajipange. So now someone walks into hospital, they are sick, they need dialysis. They need dialysis.
Sure.
They're not here to take some they're not here to take some mara moja.
It's a serious case.
Paracetamol for their pain.
Yeah.
They are here to cleanse their blood, because if they don't, they'll die. Then unamwambia lipa 10k kwanza.
That 10k is not her. I think about what the president promised when he was bringing the issue of the universal health care. It was about to ensuring that such cases are sorted.
Yes.
I think that was a promise actually. So us shifting all the way from NHIF to SHIV, that was the reason.
Right.
That is gonna actually, you know, they were saying that NHIF was not that effective as this one is, and of course they were also acting this also on the issues of corruption and so forth.
I never heard people complain during NHIF days. I mean, sure, there were a few complaints here and there.
Yes.
But not as much as
not
SHA.
as much as SHA.
And I remember I said yesterday that personally I have registered for SHA. I know of people who've been actually relatives who've gone to hospital and they've actually gotten medical care provided for by their SHA cover. But I think some things venye zinafanywa kidogo hazileti shangwe. Government needs to check some of these directives, and we are hoping that Mwangangi akiwa kule kwa kiti cha SHA atashughulikia mambo kama hayo
kabisa,
au sio? On page 8, state starves learners with budget cuts to school feeding plan. Now learners from poor households risk dropping out of school following a significant budget cut to the government's school feeding program. That story is on page 8. Now I don't know if you've seen Nairobi County that some of the places in Nairobi County that have got these huge banners showing mali watoto wanafaa kwenda kukula chakula.
Yes.
So let me just read this short story on page 8, yeah? Where is it? Ulikuwa amesema iko page 8. Senators and MPs each take a hardline stand that may delay disbursement of funds. So apparently counties might have to wait longer to get funds for their next financial year after talks between senators and MPs to unlock a stalemate ended in disarray. Hapo ndio kuna shida, kuna kizungumkuti. Yeah, we can see there the CS of Treasury holding his briefcase before ende akasome budget. But yeah, you were saying something.
Yeah, about the feeding program for the school going children. I think, let me tell you, I do not understand whether our leaders sometime or even when they were young, have you ever gone to a class while your stomach is empty?
To be honest, I have never. I have been privileged to never find myself in that position.
To our leaders who sometimes they will just see this as not important as it is. This is the question to you. Have you ever gone to a class and your stomach is empty? You barely ate nothing, that is the all of yesterday. Ukija usiku, whatever is there you are sharing with your family is little.
I have found myself going to work without having eaten anything, and it's not because I couldn't afford it.
Okay, let's not talk about yours.
It was just about nilichelewa kukula. But I'm trying to answer your question.
Yes.
I know how it feels. Number one, you can't even concentrate in class.
You can't concentrate.
Because you can't even for someone who's going to work, you can't concentrate in office.
Yes.
For example, you're here in the studio. If you hadn't taken your coffee right now, ungekuwa unasinzia because I mean you woke up very early to be here.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
If you haven't taken a biscuit or bread ama kamandazi, your stomach would be grumbling right now. Watu wangekuwa wanasikia badala ya kusikia ukiongea, wanasikia tu ukifanya
vitu vingine.
Yes. So I get how it can be very annoying and very uncomfortable. You're in class, you've not eaten. Mwalimu anajaribu kukwambia Pythagoras theory.
Yes.
You're not understanding
anything. You're not
anything.
getting anything actually. Yes. And that is the reason why yesterday I talked of the basic needs. There is a reason why these things are called basic needs, by the way.
Food, shelter, clothing.
Yes, there is a reason as to why they are called basic. They are things you will barely operate well if you don't have them. Yes.
Yes. For you, this is just kidogo tuna digress. For you, what wouldn't you operate with today here?
Of course, food. Okay, First of all, you cannot operate well, your stomach is empty.
Obviously, you can't come to work naked.
And of course.
Obviously, you can't come to work if you didn't have a place to sleep last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we add education as also. I think nowadays we are even categorizing it as also a basic need.
Do you know why there are people who actually go to work daily? Sometimes, they don't have a place to live.
Yes.
They don't have a place to sleep. They don't have food to eat. They don't even have clothes to wear. I don't know if you've noticed, maybe kwa ule mtaa unaishi ama mahali umetoka, kuna jamaa tu anakuanga na the same clothes day in day out. Mimi nimewaona.
Yes, that happens, and it's not something to smile about. It is not something like as a country in this century, right now as we're speaking, those are some of the things that our leaders should be striving.
I know of people
who solve, to address.
I know of people who live in construction sites.
Yes.
So jioni ikifika 6 wajenzi wakishatoka wanaingia into these buildings, wanalala huko ndani. I can't imagine the amount of cold they experience. Kama mimi mwenyewe kwa nyumba yangu, sometimes I need to add a blanket or two to feel warm. I cannot imagine how these people feel in those particular buildings without gunia ya kujifunika ama hata blanketi. Number 2, they do not have food. They have to wait for kile chakula kimetupwa pale kwa takataka ama wanaenda kwa hoteli, wanauliza hoteli the food that has remained, yenye ulikuwa unataka kutupa ama yenye maybe watu wameguza tu hawakumaliza. Unajua kuna sometimes you go to a hotel unaoma kamguka kuku kidogo na unaacha. That is the food they ask for. Sometimes they even given rotten food.
So that is the reason why we are saying anything touching to the issue of food, shelter, education for Kenyans. I think it is something that should be treated with the agency. It should be given the priority that it deserves.
True.
Kuna pesa, kuna allocations nyingi zinaekewa vitu zenye they are not as basic as this. And that
I
is
agree.
why even our leaders, as they are doing this, they are making these policies, they should consider uplifting or changing the lifestyle, first of all, of Kenyans. Well, the housing project, of course, is also solving that in terms of shelter.
Yes.
Then now, why should you touch the budget for such things? Our children wanafaa kukula wakienda shule, wakiwa shule. There are some of them who depend on that food yenye wanapewa shule. Back at their home, they can't afford a meal.
Actually, I know of communities where children are sent to school.
Yes.
So that they can eat.
You are told go
not
to
even
school.
for education.
Yes, to eat.
For the food. Mamako na babako wataenda kujipanga huko kwa bush.
So unfortunate in our country. Well,
yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
All right, so still on the front page of the Daily Nation. They are directing us to page 7, and this is what it says. It's Uhuru versus Gachagua in battle for Mount Kenya. Impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's plot to lock out other political parties from the populous Mount Kenya region has triggered a feared backlash, with his critics ganging up to front alternative political outfits. Now, former President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party is being aggressively revived to challenge Mr. Gachagua's Democracy for Citizens Party, DCP, ahead of the 2027 general elections. On Monday, Mr. Gachagua accused Mr. Kenyatta of enabling President William Ruto to infiltrate Mount Kenya political heart during the last election. Lakini mimi niko na swali juu ya our former DP,
yes.
Rigathi Gachagua. One morning he wakes up saying he's very sorry for, insulting the former president.
Yes.
He's very sorry for not realizing that they were just being divided as a community. Saying he's very sorry that he did not realize it early in advance. He told the people of Mount Kenya, I am sorry, guys. Then another morning he wakes up and he's like, huyu jamaa Kenyatta ndiye alifanya tukaingiliwa huku hivi. Alikubali Ruto akafanya ABCD.
Yes.
I just want to know, what do these people smoke in the morning?
Well, I think it's all about politics. In politics, a day is a very, very, very long time. Yes, a day, not even a day, hours.
Siku moja.
In politics. So yes. Today unaenda kulala ukijua kwamba tuko pamoja na Uhuru. Sawa. Later on unaona he issued a statement somewhere.
Yes.
Amekuchapa. So na wewe pia unaamka unabadilisha. Because as you are looking, as you see, according to the newspaper, is talking of they are fighting for who is who.
Right.
In Mount Kenya.
Me, if I have an issue,
yes,
with any of my friends, thank God I've never had an issue with you, but if I ever have, I will call you personally. And I'll tell you, Trisha, listen, hapa kidogo, huu ni ufala. Can we focus? Can we do this? Can we work together?
Yes.
This is the direction we need to take.
Yes.
But I will not be public here telling everyone in the office,
Kisha
ndiye amekuja ameharibu breakfast show. I won't do that.
But you need to understand that politics is a game of interests. Yeah? You need to understand. It's all about interest here. You see now, tunaelekea 2027. And then, what matters is the numbers. What do you have?
Unaleta nini kwa meza?
Unaleta nini kwa meza? You remember when they were forming the Kenya Kwanza government, the former DP really boasted of how much he brought on the table.
Yes.
And that is why he was really fighting for a bigger share of that national cake. You get? That is why he was fighting, because he felt like I really brought big numbers on the table. So this is what they are really, even as they are geared towards forming coalitions for the 2027 elections,
right?
They are looking at who has a bigger say. Because of course, who will be having that bigger say in their region, most definitely huyo ndio atapendekezwa kwenda kung'ang'ania hichi kiti.
I just think that, again, and we said this yesterday, that Kenya needs to mature its politics in this way, such that we can vote for you, not necessarily because you come from a certain tribe or you're bringing a certain number to the table in terms of your tribal affiliations, but because you are able to deliver. Because if you deliver, you have delivered for everyone. You have delivered for Kikuyus, Luos, you've delivered for Maasais.
For Kenyans, everyone.
You have delivered for Turkana people, you have delivered for El Chamus. But I think this whole, because I believe we have leaders somewhere, just hidden talent, I'd like to call it that, hidden talent, whereby you probably find there's someone who can be a very good CS, or a very good governor or senator, but they're unable to come to the table because wanaulizwa wanakuja na nini. They're unable to be the vice president of this country or deputy president because wanaulizwa wanakuja na nini. They are unable to be a CS because they probably can't afford kuchangia towards campaign ya mtu fulani.
And that is where we get it wrong as a country.
If today you're trying to vie for the presidency of this country,
yes,
na mimi the only thing I can bring to the table is expertise. Na nikwambia why you want to become president, kindly make me the minister for entertainment, and I will assure you Kenya will be properly entertained.
You must entertain me in the ballot first.
But sasa unaniambia movie, sasa wewe unakuja hapa. Eric Omondi pia amekuja anataka kuwa minister of entertainment.
Yes.
And he's giving me 100 million.
Yes.
We also have YY comedian, for example. He's giving me 200 million for my campaign. So do I give you or do I give them?
So in other words, you must first of all entertain me in the ballot.
No, not even in the ballot. In your campaign kitty.
That's what I'm saying. The numbers that you're gonna bring.
Mimi sasa wa you are sina pesa, but I can assure you, if you look at my CV,
yes,
I've been in the media for a very long time. I've done stand-up comedy. I've experience, I have rapport. I can, do stuff to a crowd. But now, I'm not saying that Eric and YY cannot, but why consider them because they're giving you 100 million? I think that the politics of this country needs to change.
Yeah.
It does need to change.
I know it's all about how much you can bring in terms of finances, in terms of voters.
And
how much?
It is these same people that now, because you're compromised, because fulani alikupatia 100 million na mwingine akakupatia 200 million, now they come and they make demands, service delivery goes down, because at the end of the day, this person who gave you 100 million says that I have to recover my 100 million first. And how do they recover it? They will force their way into tendership, getting tenders. They become tenderpreneurs, and they obviously give us substandard services because they need to recover their money faster and get some more to align their pockets, and that's where the problem is.
Do you remember during the Gen Z's protest last year, one of the demands later was about these people, the cabinet secretary, the whole thing, the CSS, whatever the president had put.
Yes.
You remember what Gen Z's wanted?
Right.
They want people who can work. They were saying, don't put politicians in those positions.
Yes. And when the president,
watu wa kufanya kazi.
When the president fired all those people, like I'll call it firing, because we come to realize later it was not firing, it was just
reshuffling.
When he when he removed everyone akasema apart from the prime CS, everyone else, anybody, mpaka AG, we were like we enye president ameamka. Wa, and the country was happy.
So I want to ask you,
we jubilated.
Yes.
And then a few days later rather, press conference. I have appointed this here. Unaona tu Alfred Mutua amerudi. I have nothing against Alfred. I'm just saying he was there.
Unaona amerudi, ametolewa huku akapelekwa huku.
Kidogo unaona CS Murkomen amerudi. Kidogo Adan Duale amerudi. And we were like, are we in a different universe? Personally, I was like, did I wake up in the wrong, country? Because like I know these guys. They were fired a few days ago. They were fired a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, all those people who are fired, where are they?
See, they're
right now. Where are they? They are still serving.
There are some who never came back completely.
How many? I just want to tell you how
like
many.
3
out of
or
all
4.
those,
I mean, we
or even 2, and somehow they are somewhere right now.
Mtu ni advisor. We have Moses Kuria.
I would like to be the advisor of the president. By the way,
how much does the advisor earn?
A lot.
The same as a CS, right?
So basically they are CSs.
A big shout out to one of the advisors, Professor Edward Kisiangani. He was my lecturer at Kenyatta University. Well, not direct lecturing, because I did biotechnology. He was teaching something different. But salamu zimfikie kama ananisikiza. We should invite him here. Akuja to advise.
Of course he will, he will. Okay, well, one thing, by the way, one of the questions I really would want to ask him, I just want to ask him if the president really, they do sit and tell the president
yes,
advices and whether among all the advices he has ever given the president,
ni gani alichukua.
For example, alishachukua advice gani kutoka kwako?
Kisiangani tutamweka pale professor na tumuulize, mheshimiwa, give me one advice you've ever given the president and he actually took it and he did it. Tutamuita hapa. Tuite pia Moses Kuria.
Actually, yes. Even Moses Kuria. Yes.
Moses tumkalishe kwa sisi, tutampatia microphone gani?
Tutamweka pale.
Tutampatia microphone moja hapa na tumuulize, mheshimiwa, one thing you told the president.
One advice.
Because there's a rumor out there that apparently the president doesn't follow the advice. We don't know how true it is. You know, we can't speak to something that we haven't seen. So we'll definitely put them to task.
Yes.
We can nini. So can we give people a little bit of traffic updates before tuendelee sana, tusahau kuambia watu zile barabara wanafaa kupitia na zile wanafaa avoid. Let me see what's happening on the roads of Nairobi. Yeah, here we go.
Traffic.
All right, I'm looking at this road known as I don't know why I like Ngong Road. Let me get away from Ngong Road a little bit. Let me go all the way to Thika Superhighway. Thika Superhighway, things are looking good. When you're getting to Survey, coming all the way from Mountain Mall, things are not looking good for you. And also as you're driving into Pangani, things are bumper to bumper. Globe roundabout, uko hata sijui niwaambie nini because nothing is moving. Koja as well, uko vitu ziko bumper to bumper. Police are there trying to take care of the traffic, but they seem to be having a challenge. Yeah, as far as that road is concerned. I'm gonna jump back to this place called Mombasa Road. Mombasa Road, if you're coming from Kitengela, things are good until you get to Connection Hotel. Hapa matatu zimekazana, zimejazana, nothing is moving there.
Where is Connection Hotel?
Hotel Connections, actually, it's called that. Yeah.
Okay.
Iko tu Mlolongo.
Okay.
Things are bumper to bumper there. And last but not least, everything after that is clear. Cabanas, mko sawa sawa. But guys, I have always advised you, just take the expressway and things are going to be looking good for you. As you're getting into Imara Daima, driving all the way towards Bellevue, things are a bit thick, but things are moving nonetheless. A bit of 10 minutes delay maybe.
All the way from Lenana, barabara kutoka Karen to town, just around a junction there is a bit of a snarl up. Also again at around Prestige, kuna traffic pale. Remember, it is a junction there is the Langata Road and so forth, so there is a bit of a snarl up. Also as you get to town community, things are thick. By the way, it's around right now it's 7:30, so things are thick. Everybody wants to get to town in time. Actually people supposed to report to work by 8, so hao ndo wamejaa kwa barabara.
Yes,
everybody is on the road all the way to Mombasa. Told lights Kengeleni, I can see things are not looking good. Things are quite thick there, like there's traffic, police pia wako pale, so you got to be patient as you use those roads. All the way to ferry Likoni crossing channel, traffic tu ni pale watu wakiingia kwenye ferry, wakipanda ferry. Ushawahi habiri ferry?
Yes, hey, what do you mean?
Okay, it's okay.
What do you mean?
It's okay. So I'm being told that the traffic ni kupanda tu ferry.
Yeah.
Otherwise, after that, every other thing is okay. Garissa, wamesema wanataka wajue hiyo barabara ya pale town.
Nasikia kuna barabara inaitwa Ngamia Lane, ama sijui ni Ngamia Highway ama ni Ngamia. No, wacha kucheka. It is actually there. There's a Ngamia Road.
We need to have Abdul here. He's to tell us all those roads, because up to until I visit Garissa, you people, you need to welcome us there, because we will be coming.
And it is not Bahari Yake, it is Bahari Yake.
Yeah, so you guys stay safe. Kama unatakiwa kufika kazini, please make sure that you don't get late.
All right.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
All right, now we are back with more of what is happening in the papers. Like we said, I was going through the Daily Nation. I'm going to be giving Trisha that that chance to go through the Standard newspaper. But before we do that,
yes,
can I just point out a story here?
Okay, go ahead.
I had opened it before we started doing traffic. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. Kalonzo dismisses Kindiki overtures, vows to remain in opposition. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has turned down Deputy President Kithure Kindiki's call to ditch former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's political camp. And Mr. Musyoka said Professor Kindiki's appeal was part of President William Ruto's wider plan to scuttle the opposition. I cannot work with or meet people who have Gen Z blood on their hands, including that of Albert Ojwang. I will always be on the side of the people, he said after attending a church service in Nairobi. All right, so Kalonzo amesema yeye si mtu wa kununuliwa cheaply hivi. This is what I understand from that statement. Yeah, he's like, you know what, you guys have got blood on your hands. Right now you're trying to woo me to get into government. I can, I'm okay here in the opposition, and things are gonna work out one way or another. He is always going to be with the people. Do you think the people are with Rigathi? Do you think the people are with the opposition, actually, not just Rigathi? Do you think the people are with the opposition?
Well, I think right now, the people right now, Kenyans, I feel they are not
with any political outfit.
Yes.
Kenyans are on their own.
Kenyans are just on their own, but they are waiting for 2027. That is when they be making. Yes.
So I feel like Kenyans are the real opposition. The opposition is not necessarily former DP Gachagua. The opposition is not definitely Kalonzo Musyoka. Is definitely not all these people who are making noise in the opposition. Kenyans are their own opposition, because I have seen lately, since we started being woke, since last year June 25th, Kenyans are very decisive in what they want. And I remember at the height of the Gen Z protests, they actually came out and they told former Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, akae kando, and they told him, we got this. They told him that we are now the opposition. We retire in peace. Tulia tu, we're going to do this. And Kenyans actually got out there and they did what they had to do. They obviously expressed a lot of disappointment when Raila Odinga came together with current president William Ruto to form the broad-based government. And they felt like the opposition had betrayed them. And that is why I insist, and I come back to say that I feel that Kenyans are not with the opposition, they are not with the government. Kenyans are on their own. They are an outfit on their own. And that is why you can see them getting angry with people such as Kasmuel. They're angry with Morara Kebaso. Angry with many other people who are trying to fit in some kind of political outfit. I remember, yes, the Gen Z said that they are tribeless, they are partyless, they are leaderless. And that is exactly what they're trying to do. And I just hope the political class can understand that. Right now, we're not looking...
stay away, right?
Yes. And when the Gen Zs did this, they were actually doing it on behalf of Kenyans, because Kenyans at large agree with that notion of being tribeless, leaderless, partyless. Why? It is better to have opinions. It is better to have your own kind of what is it called? Like, agree the direction you're going to take together, not following an individual. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It is easier for us to agree, both of us, Tricia, that look, we can have githeri today.
Yeah.
Or we can have chapati. As opposed to
when
having
someone
telling us today, Tuesday, you're gonna have ndengu and mchele. Yes. So because when we agree, it is easier for us to be content with the decision that we have made.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we don't want to blame Kalonzo, we don't want to blame Gachagua, we don't want to blame Ruto, we don't want to blame Raila. We want to say that this is what we chose and it's working for us. And when it's not working for us, we tell it kwa heri ya kuonana. Yep. I don't know. What are your sentiments?
Well, okay. Okay. What I will say, or what I will even ask the Kasamil walienda wapi, kitu cha kwanza.
Si Kasamil aliingia ODM.
Ndio hapo sasa. And they were
Before
he
that,
was with the Gen Zs.
Before that, he was partyless, leaderless, and tribeless.
But right now he's ODM.
He's in ODM. He has a leader, and we know the leader of ODM is
we
ODM.
know. Yeah. Well, it's okay. Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. It's not okay.
Well, I'm just saying it's okay in quotes, because now
tutawaleta hapa pia. Hawa kina Kebaso tu hao.
Kasmuel will come here and tell us why.
Yes.
Why? Because I remember the footage that we used to see vile alikuwa anacheza hide and seek with the police.
With the police.
In town.
Dodging bullets and dodging
do you remember? Yes. But
watu
then now
wakisema hata akona mbio kuliko Ferdinand Omanyala.
Yeah. But anyway, fine. On the Standard newspaper, before I get there, let me look at the Taifa Leo because this story of the DIG Langat is just all over in all the newspapers.
Yeah, we said that it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
And the whole issue of the murder of Ojwang Albert, and one of the stories. One of the key things coming out. Can you imagine?
Yep.
Somebody was just given 2,000 to go and buy alcohol for the inmates who were assigned the task of.
Actually, I read somewhere
of also, whatever they did to Ojwang. I
also read somewhere that the individual who tampered with the CCTV cameras, apparently alipatiwa elfu ngapi?
3,000.
3,000.
Yeah. Yani you are 3,000 plus 2,000 costing somebody alive.
Yep.
You are 5,000 costing a family
basically
that grieve
basically
loss of their son.
Basically Ojwang's life was bought for 5,000 bob.
Wow. So sad. Anyway, Kindiki Kalonzo wamenyana katika ukurasa wa 4 wa gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Na tumetoka kusema tu sasa hivi
ya kwamba hii ni baada ya wito wa ushirikiano wa naibu wa rais kwa Kalonzo kukataliwa. You say Kindiki alienda akamwambia come Kalonzo come.
Mbona unatumia soprano? Endelea. Sorry. Pole nimekukata. Endelea. Nilikuwa nimesahau you're a female, so
I'm a female.
Kawaida uko na.
But now you have reminded me of what the deputy president the other day was saying.
Wait, don't elaborate on that joke.
No, I'm just saying you just reminded me what I was saying.
Yes.
Wanasema mimi sina base. Ni kweli?
Haya.
Unaniona mimi sina base kweli?
Unajua ukikujua pa na
okay, no,
ukikujua na Central Police mimi nitakuwa mbali sana.
What I'm saying is it was funny. Okay. By the way he put it, like hata mwenyewe alicheka. It was just so funny. Well, anyway, we are looking at how the two are really fighting for Ukambani.
Right.
So now you're telling me Kindiki has come all the way from his place.
Yes.
Now they are fighting for Ukambani with Kalonzo Musyoka.
Like we said, in this country, our politics is very regional.
Yeah.
Our politics is very tribal. And of course, he has to speak to the kingpin wa Ukambani. Sasa hiyo si ni Kalonzo Musyoka. Si lazima amwambie manze bro ni aje. We come na mbogi yako. And me I feel like Kalonzo has got a lot of convincing to do for the people of Ukambani. Not just taking them, the way he wants or anyone else wants. Right now people are woke. Me, I can tell you, I was in Ukambani just over a couple of days ago, and actually in the last 1 month I've really traveled because of personal issues. And I can assure you, Kenyans right now, especially the Kenyans in Ukambani, they are looking for seriousness as far as leadership is concerned, and I'm sure Mheshimiwa Kalonzo knows that.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think this issue of kingpin is going to matter in 2027?
I think it is going to play a significant role. So yes, I feel like it's going to
matter. You think, and another question, do you think the so-called kingpins in these regions have been the ones who have been misleading their people? Do you think so?
I don't want to say they have been misleading their people, because pia watu si punda,
because
watu
now
si kondoo. It's just that they have been disappointing us over and over and over again. And just to answer your previous question about, do I feel like, this whole kingship or kingpinship is going to be significant in 2027? That is why people like Natembeya are really fighting hard to be the spokespeople of these particular areas. And many other leaders coming out of that is why even President Ruto appointed someone from the coastal region into the cabinet. We're talking about Joho here. That is why they needed someone from a particular region to take control of things like parliament, be the head of be the speaker rather of parliament, both the Senate and the other house. So yeah, I know for
the reason why I ask is in the public eye I feel it's gonna work, right? But then when we go to the ballot, do you think Kenyans We say now that because Kalonzo is our kingpin,
Right.
and Kalonzo has told us to vote maybe for the for Ruto or somebody else, then do you think Kenyans will just follow?
You remember during the 2022 campaigns, President Ruto, that time when he was DP,
Yeah.
what was his campaign slogan? Bottom up. Right?
Yeah.
He spoke about Mama Mboga.
Yeah.
He spoke about watu wa boda. Basically, wale watu wa kuku chini. Or we'd like to assume wako chini.
Yes.
And those people were sensationalized by, issues such as bottom up. They were sensationalized using issues such as this government is going to be wale watu wa kuku chini.
Yes, yes.
And they actually believed it. And we were hoping that it was going to be true. And when that didn't happen, what happened? People were disappointed. People said that, they have been lied to and so on and so forth. It's something that has been happening. Politicians in this country have understood that Kenyans are always voting with their emotions. That is why tribal chiefs always come back with the mtu wetu syndrome. Mtu wetu anatakiwa.
Yeah, mtu wetu ukishasema mtu wetu, you definitely touch the emotions of the people.
Yes, we are being attacked.
Yes, yes.
So when, for example, a leader is being arrested for corruption, they always go back. When they're doing rallies, they won't do a rally here in Nairobi. Mtu amearrestwa amepelekwa integrity centers. Integrity center iko wapi? Si iko Nairobi? Yes. Lakini hata kuja kufanya press conference integrity center akiachiliwa.
We go back to his backyard.
Afadhali aende Shamahoho. Ndiye aseme ambie watu wa Shamahoho. You see, they are attacking us. They are not attacking the people of Shamahoho. They are attacking you. Because you are the one who's been arrested for corruption. And that is what happens in this country. Ukishika mtu hataenda kufanya rally Uhuru Park. Ataenda kufanya
back to his people.
Yes, pale Machakos people's whatever park. Ndio wakamba wenzake wakuje pale aseme unaona venye tumeatakiwa. So unfortunately, Kenyans are very emotional voters. And leaders know that, and they are going to use that until the day this whole idea of tribeless, leaderless, and what? Hiyo ingine tulikuwa nasema ni nini? Hizo tatu. Until that one ingears into our system, we shall always unfortunately be very, very
emotional. Why I was asking so, it's because I'm looking at 2027 as that year when especially the youth, the Gen Zs who have always not been voting. I'm just looking forward to see, because I believe, because they said, I remember them at that time saying that now that hii pengine inalemea, this time round we are coming to the ballot.
Yeah,
we are coming. So I'm hoping that them that are not registered for voting, of course they're gonna be registered, and that they are going to change this whole thing that we are used to. Hiyo ya mtu wetu, hiyo ya sijui nani. Yeah, I think they're gonna change this. Me, I'm looking forward to that, because I know, the Gen Zs will be voting in a very big number.
They will definitely be coming out to vote in large numbers.
Yes.
But this whole idea of tribalism itaisha lini? Haitaisha hata hii election. I feel like we shall start seeing a tribeless country in another, maybe, and I could be wrong on this, in another 20 years. Me, I'm not a political scientist. I am just saying what I feel like. You know why I'm saying that?
Okay.
Because we still have our parents who are the ones who actually vote largely because of tribe.
Yes.
Because they were brought up in that system.
Yes.
They were brought up in the system. You remember even the quota system, where for you to even get admission to a national school, you had to be the top in your district, in your division or whatever.
Yes.
So they would pick, several people from Ukambani when you attend to the national schools, several people from Rift Valley that were attended to the national schools, Nyanza when you attended to the national schools, that way. So it was a very tribal affair. How many Kambas, for example, wameletwa Nairobi School? How many Luos wameletwa Alliance High School? How many Kisis are in Maseno, for example? Because there was that system of every region needs to be represented. And unfortunately, even for us millennials, we were brought up, because it is our parents, the boomers wenye walitufanya nini, walituingiza kwa hiyo system. So it's going to take a while It's going to take a while.
I feel 20 years is a lot.
Because our generation also has, first of all, to unlearn. Our parents will never unlearn. And I'm telling everyone watching us right now.
Now from the generation millennial.
Yes.
Do you mean up to date you have not unlearned?
Have friends, former classmates, tulienda nao university, mtu amesoma, ako na degree,
na insist mtu wetu.
Wengine wako na hadi masters.
Yes.
Mtu amesoma hata degree kama psychology. Mtu amesoma accounting, mtu amesoma medicine. Lakini bado mindset yake iko wapi? Mtu wetu. Yes, I'm in forums on WhatsApp where people are arguing like that.
Well, because that is the reason, that is the question I would ask the millennials.
Yes.
Wenye pia wamekuwa part of this Gen Z protests.
Right.
You see, a part of them have really participated in this.
You see, our children,
yes,
majority of us, by the way, majority of us millennials have actually intermarried.
Yes.
Unapata mimi niko na affiliations na someone that is not of my tribe.
Yes.
So our child is born of how many tribes? Two.
Or even 3.
Yeah, mtoto hata identify na either Mkisi, ama Mkamba, ama Mjaluo, ama Mluya, ama Mkalenjin. Why? Because they actually have
a combination.
Yes. And those are some Gen Zs are like that right now.
Actually, a majority of them.
Yes. And they're also doing that to their children.
Yes.
So a lot of Gen Alpha, the ones who are coming up, pia wao wamefika mahali, they are going to be, and that's why I'm saying in another 20 years, when now they get the chance to vote, they're not going to be voting with the Mutuetu syndrome, because how will you tell a child who's part Kisii, part Kalenjin, part Jaluo, and part Maasai,
a cocktail, a full cocktail of tribes. Yes.
Mtu hata kuwa anaangalia mtu wetu, yeye atakuwa anasema tu, I just want better education.
Yes.
I just want better services.
Yes.
I just want to, employment. And I do not care who will give that to me. If it's going to come from a Maasai, let's go with it. If it's going to come from a Luo, let's go with it. If it's going to come from a Kikuyu, so be it. So that's why I said in another 20 years. Again,
20 years. Okay.
It was just an educated guess.
Well,
I could be wrong on that one. It might happen sooner than we think. Why not?
I'm really looking for a for a change in 2027. Actually, the voting, the way people will be voting, I'm just looking forward to that, because I know Gen Zs right now, they are much prepared to participate in the voting, because you remember last election, the elections before, most of these Gen Zs have not been voting actually.
Yeah.
They
haven't.
They never used to vote. Actually, I interviewed several of them. Then I was in Mombasa, and they're like, we cannot vote. Why vote?
Yeah, that is what is now called voter apathy.
Yes, they felt like there's no need of voting, because
their vote doesn't count.
Yeah,
because their vote will be stolen.
Yes, and that is and that is why now we were talking of the electoral reforms.
Right.
Where we need to have we need to ensure that our elections are fair. And if I vote, I have come here and I'm voting for Mbuvi.
Right. And Mbuvi loses.
Yes.
You are sure I'm lost
sure
fairly.
He lost fairly.
Yeah.
If I was voting for somebody else and mwingine ndiye amepata, I'll go home so sure that they got those votes through the
right way.
Yes.
And that's why wazungu wanasemanga, may the best person win. And we need also to understand that when the person that you are voting for doesn't get the vote, they lose for that matter.
Yeah.
That you have still gained as a people.
Sure.
Because you see, at the end of the day, you are voting for person A, but person D is the one that got the vote. At the end of the day, person D is working for you.
Yes.
But now the problem comes here. When person D feels like he owes you nothing. Because you did not
vote for him.
And that's why I say we need to get away from this regional thing. We need to get away from it completely.
Yeah, let us just vote for the right leaders.
Wakiangalia hivi list, waone, sikupata votes kutoka Sultan. So I will not stapeleka maendeleo Sultan. But because I got a lot
Sultan, mulisema nyinyi ni wa hii side nyingine ngojeeni hii side nyingine ile siku watapata mamlaka ndo msaidike.
But because I got a lot of votes from Wote, now I'll go and develop Wote. I think we need to get away from that.
Yeah,
we need to get away from that so that all Kenyans and we will get away, and I've said we'll get away from that in about 20 years, because some of the leaders who are going to take over in 20 years, right now they're in their late teens, early 20s. Yes, and those are some of the Gen Zs that we say they're they're mixed tribes nini.
Yes,
so in another 20 years they'll be in their 40s. They'll be asking for these senatorial seats,
yes,
and MP seats, and they'll be asking for governorship and
yes,
presidency. And I just hope that we as the larger Kenyan community will see that it is time that we actually get some proper leadership in this country.
Wow.
I am not saying that the current leadership, tafadhali msinikujie kwangu. Mimi najua nitakuwa naogopa every time I see a police vehicle behind me.
No, you shouldn't, because here you are speaking facts.
Msinikujie tafadhali.
Movie, you shouldn't fear.
Anyway, I'm not fearing.
There's also there's this story in still the Taifa Leo 2027, Nasir Amponda Gashagwa, kwamba gavana afokea Rigathi kwa tamko lake kuwa atahakikisha anashindwa 2027.
2027.
Yes. Wewe like you ametoka mlima, gone to coast, and told the governor 2027 tashindwa
to his face. But I like
Kenyans.
I feel like, what, our politics should be like that. I see this happening in countries that are first world countries. You remember that time Macron alitupiwa mayai?
Yes.
They were telling him to his face, my friend, we are tired of your leadership. You remember that time President George Bush Jr. alitupiwa kiatu?
Yeah.
Akiwa huko, was it Iran or Iraq?
Iran, yes.
Yes. You remember that time alitupiwa kiatu?
Yes.
That was a clear sign of, obviously it wasn't an American throwing shoes at him, but we should be bold enough to face leadership, regardless of how strong they are.
Yes.
Whether it's your governor, your MP, you should be able to tell him to his face, Mr. President, me by this sijafurahia venye umekuwa ukifanya. In this country we are so afraid of leaders. We see them and we are so humble, which is okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's the African way, just being, having humility, especially towards your leaders. It's a good thing to be humble. It's a good thing to be respectful. But also we need to take away the fear of God out of leaders. Hii maneno ati sasa juu president amekuja hapa atupumui vizuri. Sijui juu governor anakuja sasa hatuwezi pumua. Sijui your MP is coming. Your MP, someone you're paying by the out of your taxes.
Yes.
You're paying this person a salo. But now because he's coming, now there's pandemonium. No. You should be able to face your MP to his face. Na umwambie, mheshimiwa, hapa ulituambia tutawekewa street lights.
Yes.
Na ukasema you will go and lobby. Ukasema utaenda parliament, upige kelele. Ukasema utaongea na ministry of whatever, wanekanga lights hapa. Tuletewe hizo
tuletewe, but nothing has happened.
Mimi nilikutuma through the ballot. Nikakupatia kura yangu. And now we are here, we are still in darkness. We are here, the roads are nothing. Then why did I elect you? We need to be fearless.
Just to hold our leaders accountable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ukimwambia hivyo asitume gunzu siku wakuja wakuchape. Ukimwambia hivyo asitume gunzu wakupeleke wakuue.
Yeah, that is something. Okay. Well, still at course, it's that on the daily newspaper, cost emerges as a key battleground in 2027 polls. By the way, when you look at these miungano ambao wako nayo viongozi, you look at the president has Raila with him. So you are talking of Nyanza, you are talking of Rift Valley.
Yes.
You look at Kalonzo, Gashagwa, we are talking of the eastern part of Kenya.
Right.
We are also talking of the central part of Kenya.
Right.
And all this in one bucket, right?
Yes.
Now, coast remains as that one region that will be like, it is the one that is going to neutralize.
Yes.
So that is why now all these people are running to the coast.
Yes.
Yes, because they feel like now huku ndio bado Manake pengine it's because tujaona muungano ambao unatoka wapi katika zile sehemu.
But umesema cost, we have like 40 seconds before we get to the top of the hour.
Yes.
There's this whole issue.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's this whole issue of these very huge regions. I've never heard of someone talk about the Maasai community, who's the kingpin in that particular area. Kuna sehemu za kina Turkana na huko Kenya North kabisa.
Yeah.
Akina Marsabit. Hata wenye tunasema tunaitanga watu wa huko wa Somalia, akina Mandera,
yes.
Are there kingpins there that can actually speak on behalf of these people?
On those sides, we have leaders from the northern part of Kenya, northeastern part of Kenya, like we have the kina CS pale wa health.
Yes.
Aden
Duale.
And he's in government. So what more do you want to ask?
I've rested my case.
Okay.
Do stand by. In the next hour, we're going to be talking about education, and there's an interesting update as far as People Daily is concerned, so don't go too far. We'll be right back.
It's 8 o'clock.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul.
Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno. The funeral date for the late blogger Albert Ojwang will be announced later, according to his father Meshach. Meshach says he will continue the pursuit for justice over his son's death. Speaking from his home in Homa Bay County yesterday, the grieving father said the decision was necessary, given the national attention his son's death has drawn. Ojwang died in police custody earlier this month after being arrested in connection with a social media post.
Niliondoka hapa ikiwa nimemfuata Albert akiwa ni mgonjwa, akiwa ameshikwa na polisi. Lakini habari nilizopata huko ni jana ndio nimeleta habari kwa watu wa Kakothi na Kokwanyo kwa ujumla kwamba Albert ameaga dunia. Kwa hivyo ni wakati wa maombolezo.
Meshach added the family has received support from both President William Ruto and ODM Chief Raila Odinga.
Namshukuru rais kwa kuchukua kijana wangu Albert Umondi kama kijana wake na kuhisi kuona kitu. Sababu wengi wameaga dunia jana, hata juzi, hata wiki jana. Lakini alichagua kuchukua mzigo huo kama wake ili akaweze kusema pole kupitia kwa simu yangu. Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga ambaye pia ni mzee wetu alichukua fursa ya kunipigia simu akiwa nje ya nchi.
The government has denied claims it's playing a direct role in fueling the conflict in Sudan. Addressing the media on Monday, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura says Kenya's involvement is purely diplomatic. He said Kenya is focusing on mediating between the rival groups in Sudan in an effort to broker a ceasefire. He added that Kenya's peace efforts are being guided by the framework of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development.
So there have been peace efforts. In February 2025, the Sudan Founding Alliance, including RSF, signed the Sudan Founding Charter in Nairobi to form a peace government. A transitional charter followed in March, and RSF declared a government of peace and unity in April 2025. So there are regional and international dynamics on the same. There are external actors.
728 non-compliant health facilities have been shut down across the country, while 301 others have been downgraded. This comes as the government intensifies efforts to weed out unlicensed and substandard service providers. Health CS Aden Duale said the closures are meant to remove quacks from the industry and restore public confidence in health services. He said the ministry will continue the crackdown on unlicensed facilities.
And we will go to all counties and all constituents and all wards. And I really want to ask the Kenyan people to report two things. One, if they see a facility that don't qualify to be called a health facility, report those fake facilities, report those quack doctors and healthcare workers who are treating our patients and who are risking their lives.
All gold mining sites within West Pokot County have been shut down with immediate effect. West Pokot County Commissioner Abdullahi Khalif stated that the decision arises from rising cases of fatalities and wanton environmental degradation linked to unregulated mining. Khalif said the ongoing unregulated mining activities have not only endangered human lives, but also polluted local water bodies.
The government has directed the closure of all mining sites within West Pokot County. There are over 500 gold mining sites in areas of Kambi Karai, Laminyausi, along Takwel River, Seker. There are also mining sites in Pokot North, areas of Kasei, Kiwawa.
And finally, the UNHCR has carried out a review of its activities, expenditure, staffing and structures following a plunge in humanitarian funding. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has been among a host of UN and private aid agencies badly hit by funding cuts by the United States. The US, which was by
in there that talks about top civil servants have 2 years to acquire master's degree or else.
Okay. Okay.
Let me just read that story kidogo before tuichambue hapa hivi.
Yes.
This is what it says. New directive now sends shockwaves among senior employees who would then face the threat of dismissal. Thousands of civil servants serving in the positions of directors and above have been left in utter shock after the government set standards that require them to have master's degrees. The Public Service Commission, that is PSC, has sent shockwaves through the civil service after it directed that all civil servants in positions of directors, undersecretaries, secretaries, principal administrative secretaries, and principal secretaries must acquire a master's degree within the next 2 years or face dismissal from their roles. Before this directive, promotions of officers to the senior positions had been pegged on requisite experience and individual performance that was brought into force in 2020. Yeah, the sweeping directive, which impacts thousands of public sector employees in government, police, National Youth Service, Kenya Prisons, Kenya Wildlife Service, and all parastatals, aims to raise the educational standards across senior government ranks. So I'd want to put my CV forward right now.
Yes.
And let the CS for Human Capital Development and Special Programs, that is Godfrey Kiringa Ruku, nimwambie kana kwamba mheshimiwa, mimi niko na masters. Sasa hiyo position simunipe.
Okay.
Mbona unacheka Trisha na pia uko na masters?
No, yeah.
Sasa si tupatiwe hizi positions.
Well,
we have clearly demonstrated that number one, we can come to work early.
Yes.
So we are not.
We wake up at 4.
Yes, we
Is
do
it
not
4
have.
or 3?
3.
3 a.m.
We do not have issues of working under pressure.
Yes.
Yes. We literally launched a new station yesterday.
Yes.
So we have what is it called? We have demonstrated
Yeah.
the ability to take on new challenges.
Yes.
Yes.
We can take new challenges.
Wewe kwanza hata kwa CV ongeza umetoka kuongea Kiswahili huko, umekuja hapa unaongea nini?
Kizungu.
Kiingereza.
Yes.
So CV yako inafaa kuwa rich sana.
Okay.
So you can be coming to RGK in the morning, doing your thing, and by 10 or 5 uko kwa ofisi yako ya CS.
I'm a minister.
Ama kwa ofisi yako ya PS. Kweli urongo. You can clearly multitask. Yeah. So anyway, what do you think about this directive by the government?
Well, you see, first of all, looking at the issue of qualifications, especially in the public service space, so many times. Actually, earlier this year, you saw that the Kenya National Qualifications Authority.
Yes.
Flagged over 10,000 counterfeit certificates. We start from there.
Okay.
Because, when there is pressure, first of all, pressure that tunataka is certificate.
Pressure compliance.
Yes, that pressure to comply. And especially when it comes to education. Wajua kusoma ni ngumu.
Kusoma ni ngumu?
Do you know how hard it is like for a rich person like you to go back to class?
Yes.
Alafu anaenda kuanza kusoma, unaanza kufundishwa hesabu zingine hapo, like your lecturer gives you sleepless nights, you are there working on calculations and so forth, assignments zenye you have. Do you know how hectic it is actually to do masters? A lot of assignments.
There's a professor of mine, she is called Professor Aida.
Yes.
Professor Aida alikuwa ananiambia hivi, or rather alituambia hivi, si ataniambia mimi peke yangu. When you're doing your master's degree,
yes,
you're actually training to be a manager.
Yes.
Because you're just mastering what you already know.
What you already know, actually.
Yeah?
Yes.
But now the master's degree is more of bringing you into a position or a situation where you're supposed to be a manager.
Yes.
You manage people.
Sure.
Human resource is under you. You have a few people that you have to direct and tell them, look, this and this needs to be done. So if you're in these particular positions that the CS has outlined here, do you know some of those people? Some of them have diplomas, but they are managing people who have got master's degrees. They are managing professors, people who are PhD holders. Na hapo ndio kuna disconnect. This is what I usually tell people who have never been to university, and especially people who've just cleared their Form 4.
Yes.
And they want to get into university. I advise them that you have to go to university, not because once you get to university you are assured of a job after your degree.
Yes.
But it is the skills that you learn from the university. There are things that you will learn from a university that you will never learn even in the streets. I don't know if you understand this particular concept.
I do get that, yes.
For example, I'll ask you a question. Is there something you acquired in university that you are sure, and not a degree,
yes,
something you acquired in university that you are sure you would have never acquired out there in the streets if you had never gone to university?
Well, I would say at the university, I remember I was a student leader.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yes. I've been a student leader.
Okay. I attempted and I failed terribly.
Well, my first time, like that is at KCA University. First of all, I know I tried, I attempted, I failed.
Okay.
Then later on in another university, I was able to get that position.
Okay.
So first of all, if I didn't go to the university, first of all, maybe I would not have gotten that position. Like, I mean, I could not have been a student leader. And when you become a student leader, there are so many things that you can handle.
So
you can handle yourself.
You acquired some leadership skills.
Of course. And there's also a difference of just acquiring in class and now the real world. Yeah, things kwa grao and the ideally things, yeah,
yes,
they are so different. So that is an experience that I got. Kando na paper.
Can I tell you what I acquired from the university?
Yes.
Me, I acquired people skills.
Yes.
Growing up, and I don't think I should probably be admitting this, but growing up, me nilikuanga tu fala when it comes to just, dealing with people.
Interacting with people, yes.
Yes, just, getting to understand that people come from different backgrounds and so on and so forth. And when I go to the university, of course, I met people of different tribes.
Yes.
I met people of different, calibers, people of different financial abilities. And I started seeing the world from a different perspective, And now I understood certain ways I should be dealing with certain people. Nikakuja kujua kuna watu wanakasirikanga ovyo ovyo.
Yes.
Nikajua venye nitadili na wao.
How to deal with them. Yes.
Nikakuja kujua kuna watu wengine saa zingine tu they are introverts.
Yes.
We have the ambiverts, we have the extroverts, and I came to understand how to if I had not gone to the university, I don't think I would have acquired that outside here in the world. So the fact that the CS wants these people to go back to school,
yes,
yeah, you know, and make sure that they have acquired this particular master's degrees, you know, I just hope that at the end of the day, number one, people are going to first of all align what they're doing to their education. Sababu kuna mtu, maybe they are in finance, then they go and do maybe a degree in, I don't know, some maybe psychology. I don't know kama hizo zitaingiana.
Yes.
Or maybe you are in human resource, and then now you go and struggle to do a degree in I don't know, literature. I don't know how they're going to align their job, you know, descriptions to this particular university degrees that they are now being forced to go and undertake. Some of them are literally years away from, probably even months away from, what is it called? Retirement.
Au tunawaacha.
Yeah?
Au tunawaacha kwenye list.
Wakae tu hapo tu wakingoja
to just
kuretire.
wait, because now in 2 years time, this will only apply to maybe somebody who has more time, more than 2 years.
In the job market.
Still in the job market. And again, you know, okay, what I like what you've said, there's that also exposure. There is a way you see things, by the way, when you go to these institutions of higher learning. There's a way you see things, by the way. There's a way you perceive issues. There's a way. So if you are a manager somewhere, and of course you've been at least you've gotten that master's, you've gone to an institution of higher learning, there's a way you know how to manage people, or manage operations in that institution.
Yes.
In that organization. So it is a good thing. Right?
And
now the problem where I was telling you there's a problem now, it is about now the that pressure.
Yes.
That pressure is gonna push people to bring you fake papers, because it is hard.
Kufanya masters ni ngumu.
No, I'm telling you. Sasa, it is not easy.
Sasa unajua, actually wacha
So I don't know whether they really considered that.
Wacha nikwambia watu ninahurumia. Watu ninahurumia ni wenye wako in these very high positions.
Yes.
Na wako na diploma.
Yeah.
Because now not only do you have to go get a master's, but you have to first of all start with your undergrad.
Wow.
Do you know that?
Yes.
We are very high senior ranking you know, government officials.
Still with a diploma certificates, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because maybe hiyo position uliorganiziwa.
Ama ulipata kitambo.
Ama ulipata kitambo, tuseme ukweli,
yes.
Man, and now you're being told you're probably now the director in this company. Yeah, I think tumeambiwa that watu wanahitajika kuwa na hizi vitu
ni top officials, yeah?
Yes, top officials in this particular government institutions.
Yes.
And they have mentioned some of the institutions, the public sector employees in government, police, National Youth Service, NYS, Kenya Prisons, Kenya Wildlife Services. So let's even take Kenya Prisons. You're a very senior warden. Unatonga warden ama ni wada. You're a very senior police officer in the Kenya you know, prisons.
Yes.
Na uko na diploma. Na umeambiwa in how many years?
In 2 years.
That is in 2027.
2020.
Sasa wewe na diploma yako,
you have a lot to do.
Uende ungangane 4 years. Sometimes I think if you have a diploma they can allow maybe some 3 years.
Yes.
Umalizane hiyo 3 years.
Yes.
By the time unamalizana nayo, the CS has fired you. There's something I need to point out, and we said this I think at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
About police and customer care.
Yeah.
And they have been mentioned here.
They've been mentioned
here that some of these officers need to go back and acquire their master's degrees. I think the CS going forward should say any new recruits, it's either you are in the university or you have enrolled to university,
yes,
or you have finished you've completed university education.
So basically, we are making this a basic requirement.
I don't know. Police wanakuanga recruited from what age? Is it like 24? I think it's 24 or 25.
Up to, is it 26?
Up to 35.
Up to 35.
Ama?
No, we need to check. We need to confirm that. We need to check on that.
Ever Google that one, because I think let's even assume it's 24 to 35. I think you should allow these individuals to go for university, or at least recruit them straight from the university, because I have nothing against the current cops. I am just saying we need a shift, we need a change.
Yeah, this is what it's saying. In
Yeah.
Kenya, the minimum age for recruitment in the National Police Service is 18 years old.
Okay.
And the maximum age is 28 years.
Oh, RC 30.
And now the grade, having a minimum KCSE,
Yes.
mean grade of D+.
Sasa unaona hapo ndio shida iko.
Then another requirement, you are physically and medically fit.
Sasa unaona, okay, hapo iko sawa. Hapo kwa unaona hapo kwa
That is according
academic
to Google, yes.
You see that academic qualification? That is where I have a problem with. Yes.
Sasa ngoja nikuuliza. So where do you want these people to go?
Watu wa D,
Yeah. Where do you want them to go?
kuna option ya kurepeat.
No.
No. Nimesema kuna option, sijasema wote wa repeat.
Okay.
Nimesema kuna
option.
Of course kuna option ya TVET, where you can go and acquire skills, because we have to be honest that not everyone was blessed academically.
And that is why I'm saying even the police, I think, so for them to consider the grade of D+,
Yes.
there was a reason.
Now,
Iko katika hiyo category ya TVET.
let me tell you something. Just because growing up when your father used to come home, he used to come home drunk and beat your mother, it doesn't mean that now you as a man,
You'll also start.
because you've grown up seeing that, you also start drinking and beating your wife. You understand?
I get you.
What I'm trying to say is we need a shift such that, fine, I'm not saying that watu wa D they don't deserve employment. I'm not saying that watu wa D wako useless in this country. I've just said kuna option ya kurepeat your form 4 education.
Okay, ni sawa.
Because sometimes unaweza kuwa ulipata D because
Out of
maybe
maybe a frustration or something, yes.
ulikuwa mgonjwa. Like me, remember I did my KCPE while mourning my brother, and sometimes you just find things they just zinaweza kakurob of your grades.
Your ability.
Exactly. So mtu anaweza rudia, na kama wewe umeona academics is not your strength, there are other professions that you can join. But specifically for police and the Kenya Army, I think people need higher grades, higher academic qualifications, to be honest.
Well, this is what I would suggest. Maybe they relook at the curriculum,
Yes.
what they do.
Which curriculum?
After theirs
Form
now.
4 or the police?
Now the police.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what I would suggest.
Curriculum ya
Maybe,
kiganjo.
waangalie curriculum yao inasema aje. Like if these things
Yes.
are missing, they can still incorporate them.
Trisha, do you know there are some things that just need emotional intelligence for you to understand? And also they need academic intelligence for you to understand. For instance, and I'm not an expert, but I will say it anyway.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Being taught, you can never be taught emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is something that you have to develop
Yes.
through your interaction.
Yeah.
And I said, for instance, when I joined university for my undergraduate, there are some things I learned that I would never have learned out there in the streets. All right, and I'm assuming this is true for people who get into any other tertiary, what is it called, institution. So whether they're doing TVET, they're doing their diplomas, they're doing whatever in these colleges from Nwanga town, there are some skills you acquire in that setting that you would never acquire anywhere else. Things like emotional intelligence.
Yes.
It's not something you can be taught in class. At your emotional intelligence 101, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Yes, we can teach you how to communicate. We can tell you, please, you need to talk to people like this, but you are the one to choose at what point to apply that particular form of what? Communication. And those are skills you acquire through interaction, through meeting people, through meeting different teachers, professors, through meeting different people, dating different boys and girls. Those are things you acquire over time. So you cannot go to Kiganjo. I think Kiganjo, they're usually taken for what, 6 months?
Yes. Is it 6 or 9 or?
Yeah, it's a very short period. That's what we know. There is no way you will go to Kiganjo na utoke palo ukiwa na proper PR skills, for example. PR ni kitu inafunzangwa university for 4 years. You understand? Communication skills are things that are taught in university for months, sometimes even years, depending on the degree that you're doing. How to write, for example, a press release. It's not something that you teach someone at Kiganjo. But between kumfunza kubeba gun na kumatch, at what point do you actually and of course we shall have time to invite maybe someone from the police force here one of these fine shows, and they tell us what they just take us through the curriculum of Kiganjo so we can understand. Because when you go to the OB, for instance, you've said you've been to the OB.
Yes.
And I know a lot of Kenyans listening to us right now have been to a police station pale kwa OB. Umeiona venye karawa na kuulizanga maswali. Sema madam nikusaidia aje? Umekuja pale,
but has he communicated? Nikusaidia aje? Has he not communicated?
He has communicated or she has communicated.
Yeah.
So unaanza, afisa, nimekuja hapa because niko na shida. Shida gani? Sema haraka bwana, tunataka kwenda you know, by the time you articulate your issue, maybe you've come there as a rape victim. You've met a male police officer who's very aggressive. Yet you've just met another male perpetrator who was aggressive to you. Unaona pale kuna disconnect. Umekuja pale uko na shida, unapata mtu mwingine mwenye ako aggressive. How do you start communicating?
Let me ask you a question. Does it mean maybe all the police wenye unapata pale kwa OB,
yes,
all of them are like that?
No, of course not.
So
there are some who are educated by there. I've met cops.
Can we agree that we agree that this emotional intelligence also depends?
Yes.
With who is who?
Of course.
Because nyinyi wote mmeenda mkasoma pali pamoja. That is, we are talking of Kiganjo, mmekwenda pamoja.
Kuna makarao who have even master's degrees.
It's okay.
I personally had a roommate at Kenyatta University who was a GSU officer. Yes. How he used to get time off to come to be in class, I have absolutely no idea.
Nimesoma nao
yes,
wengi sana. So my point was, I really I think because I really think that it's not necessarily now changing the grades to say that now mnataka kuchukua wale wako na C+. What I'm looking at is now the curriculum that is being used there.
Yes.
There are some reforms that can be done to ensure that these people, as they come out of Kiganjo,
yes,
wako at least ile, because as we say, emotional intelligence also grows as you experience, depending with experience also, as you meet different people,
right,
and so forth, as you are exposed to different situations. So now
yep,
there's also this what the president did. You remember the president said that the recruitment of police officers in Kenya now will be considering graduates of the National Youth Service. That is 80% of positions in the regular police, in the Kenya Coast Guard service, in the Kenya Defense Forces, in administration police, would be allocated to NYS graduates. And actually we've seen that really happening.
Makofi kwa hayo.
So now this person who has come from NYS,
yes,
of course, kama ni mtu ametoka pale, Pia, I think the way they look at things is also different. Have you met somebody who has been at the NYS?
I have
you know, after the training,
I have a relative. Sorry.
A minute, please.
Yep.
After the training, after that,
yeah,
I think most of them now will go to the colleges that maybe mtu alikuwa anataka kwenda. Then now, those are the people who will be considered first in this recruitment. So these people, of course, you expect that in the next like few years,
they'll be very competent.
Yes, and the police, yes, and things will have changed, yes, by the way. That OB ukienda kuandikisha, you find somebody who is a bit competent, different. Unlike huyu mtu mwenye alimaliza form 4, like, straight
kama ameingia kwa OB.
Amemaliza tu form 4, ametoka ameenda hizo months zake, akimaliza pale hivi.
Yeah.
Amekuja kwa OB.
You know, I was just about to tell you, sorry I was almost interrupting you, but what I was trying to say is that I actually have a relative alikuwa NYS. Then aka-apply, akaenda recruitment ya Kenya Army.
Yes.
Na akaingia.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of this particular individual. They are very good in what they do. Perhaps also another what is it called? Another proposal we can make is probably extending the training.
Okay.
At Kiganjo.
Yeah, that could also make sense.
Instead of the 6 months, I think it's 6 months. We shall confirm that. Apart from the 6 months, it can be longer, maybe a year and a half, so that now they can incorporate other things into the curriculum. Things like what? Communication skills. Things like what? PR skills.
Waongezewe mwaka hapo wa kusoma.
Yes. After all, it's our taxes anyway.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, so waongezewe just like a period, but instead of the usual 6 months, at least wagonge tu mwaka na nusu. Waongezewe
hiyo waingizwe kwa darasa sasa.
Waingizwe kwa darasa. Apart from just because, you know, they undergo intense training, physical training,
yes.
You know, how to hold a gun, sharpshooting, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that at least other things in the curriculum can be added. Even computer skills.
Yes.
You know, so that
it's important.
Because now tumesikia police stations itakuwa installed na CCTV, na they're going to digitize the OB, the occurrence book.
Yes.
So that you can know how to type. Me, I have read a statement by a police officer. Na si iko ubaya. Nimeread statement ya police spelling mistakes, grammar, and it's not like I am perfect. Even me, I make grammatical errors and spelling mistakes. But kuna zingine ni excess.
Na it irritates, and especially when you're reporting on something, a matter that is serious. Yeah, yes. It irritates, and you're like, okay, what is he saying?
Yes.
What is he saying?
So and then the handwriting.
Yes.
You know, handwriting ingine.
Brother, you're so you.
No. Listen. We are being, see, this is the people's breakfast.
Yes.
We are being candid, yeah. Yes. So that when we invite afisa hapa, police spokesman akuja kuongea, at least we know where we are coming from.
Yeah.
So anyway, tuongezewe period, and also another proposal that I would add as far as this is concerned is even after they have been recruited, after wameshaingia into the police force, wakwe na vitu kama refresher courses. I'm sure they have those.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But they should be better, more robust, because sometimes you meet someone in a kama unauliza huyu alifanya refresher course kweli? Because bado umekuwa kwa police force 10 years
for 10 years na bado
ni kama umesahau training.
Ni ile
ni kama umesahau training, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's continue this conversation, but before we do that, maybe we give people some kind of traffic update. We let them know which roads to use and which ones to avoid. So ladies and gentlemen, uko wapi kama umekwama tuambie.
By the way,
traffic.
All right.
Well, I feel, by the way, it's already 8:30.
Yes, it is.
And most of the roads have already cleared, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, most of the roads have cleared. Because nadhani watu wakwenda kuingia kazini wengi wamefika. So kuna tu wale wa baadaye kidogo. Mabosi ndio sasa wanaingia kazini. Yes.
Najaribu kuangalia Garissa. You know, it has just hit me that Garissa is not that far off from Nairobi.
Did you say there's a road called what?
Ngamia Road.
I need to confirm that. I said I must confirm that. Well,
I'm looking at the map of Garissa,
yes.
But yes, you were saying something.
Yes, I'm looking at Ngong Road. Everything is clear. But of course, ukifika pale Prestige, around Junction, hizo ni sehemu ambazo ukifika pale lazima things are slow, a bit slow, kuna traffic lights. So of course we must respect that. Around community as you get to town, things are moving, although slow. All the way from Thika Road, kutokea pale KCA, through Pangani. By the way, pale kuna kuanga na very serious traffic.
Yes.
Yeah, mpaka huwa nashangaa, you are like, what is not happening?
Right.
But anyway, I know it's because of the entry to town that is around the Globe area. So once you get there, be patient because things are moving.
Now I'm looking at Garissa County. Kuna Garissa Dadaab Road. It's looking A-OK. This is the A3 road. Garissa Lamu Road as well. Nothing to complain about as far as traffic is concerned there. Last but not least, hii barabara nilikuwa natafuta inaitwa Ngamia 1 ni kama sioni. But did you know there is a spy in Garissa? Do you know there's a spy in Garissa? I've just seen here on the map something written, something spa. And I think I've touched the wrong side of the map, imepotea. But I shall try and get back to it later on, and I tell you about this particular hotel that has got a spa. I wonder what they do in that spa in Garissa, because the last time I checked, when you go to a spa, what happens? When you go to a spa,
okay,
these are not things I expect to see in Garissa.
Why? But why are you underrating Garissa?
Let me just
I'm wondering what are you talking about.
Let me display my ignorance kidogo. Those are not things I expect to see in Garissa. But anyway, Garissa, like I've said, there is no traffic at this particular hour. Things are looking good. I'm sure watu washafika makazini kwao. I can see only one major road, that is the A3 road, and the other small inroads are actually looking fantastic. So nothing to complain as far as that is concerned.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
All right, back to our conversation. We were just talking about the fact that the government has directed all civil servants to ensure, not all of them, but senior civil servants,
civil servants,
to acquire degrees, master's degrees rather,
but I was
in
asking,
the next 2 years.
Do you really know how hectic it is to do this thing?
I mean, I know. See, tumeshasema hapa tuko nazo, so tunajua how difficult
especially
it is.
when you're working, and especially when you're a leader, an official, top official, who has meetings everywhere, every time.
And now let's not forget,
Yeah.
they are a bit aged. Some of them
Yes.
are advanced in age. They're in their late 40s, probably early 50s.
Can you imagine? Okay, why do you think the government reached that decision?
I think it's about just to have proper service delivery. And like I said, some of these what are they called? Some of these leaders, some of these senior civil servants are supervising people who actually already have those degrees and PhDs even. So you can imagine, Trisha, you're the supervisor, you're probably a diploma holder or a degree holder, and you're supervising someone who has got a PhD. This person probably has more knowledge in the area of expertise than you, has more experience in that particular area of expertise. So there's a disconnect. Hata mnakosana because unajaribu kumwambia fanya hivi na anakuambia no madam, there's a better way of doing this thing and it is done like this, like that. Unachiki sasa ni mtu mna clash sana. Unapata there's a lot of clash in the office. How to go about this particular situation. Do you know what she did? She stood up and she walked away. So nikadhani maybe she's walking away to aniletee form ya kujaza. Nikadhani maybe ameenda and anitie mtu mwenye atanisaidia. Went to another part of the office, sat down and continued her whatever it is that she was doing.
Ulimfanyia nini jamani? Was he
It was a lady. I walked and she was a bit advanced in age. She was probably in either late 40s or early 50s. I looked at her.
Pengine alikuwa na shida ya kusikia.
Maybe. But yangesema angenifanyia sign language zile za sikuelewi ama aniambie one moment aende anitie tu mtu mwingine anisaidie ama anielekeze tu aniambie enda ile desk iko pale ama ingia ile ofisi iko pale. She didn't have to walk away and just leave me there looking like a mad person.
Well, I think that is more of work ethics than just the academic, because
but you see,
yes,
these are the skills we were talking about.
Yeah,
communication skills.
She might have learned them in school,
emotional
but now
intelligence.
She chose to be what she is.
You see, even me, I will not be seated here, assuming this is an office. Someone walks in and asks me, Mbuvi, where can I get ABCD services? I just look at them and then I just proceed to do my stuff on the computer and look at them as though they're a mad person. I will tell them, hiyo si department yangu, toka hivi nje, enda left, kuna mlango hapo imeandikwa Trisha Wayoa, huyo ndiye atakusaidia. Hata kama hiyo siku nimeamka tumekorofishana na bibi yangu, ama nimekorofishana na mtu wa matatu, ama nimekorofishana na Uber, nimekorofishana na mtu wa nduthi, I will not bring my drama to that particular individual.
Well, I think this most of the time has been happening, and I'm going to there's this story, not even a story, also this happened to somebody in Mombasa.
Right.
Alikuwa ameenda katika ofisi ya one of the MPs.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he's like, amefika kwa ofisi, anasalimia the lady at the reception.
Yes.
The lady is busy eating mandazi and baazi.
Okay.
Ya nazi. You get?
Right. Is that a problem?
No, I'm like, you see, I'm like, I tried to picture her. Amejifunga, then she's there at the reception.
Right.
Anakula mandazi na mbaazi. In the first place, you're using your hands. Yes, you cannot use a spoon to eat mbaazi.
I mean, it would be very weird if I found you with a spoon ukikula mandazi.
And this lady, the guy was telling me that she didn't even move. Like, anamuliza, mheshimiwa yuko? Mheshimiwa is not there. You see, like, so that is just that office decorum, which most of the time, it may not be because of your academic qualifications.
Maybe they don't have
it might be just you.
Nimtete kidogo. Maybe they don't have a designated area for eating. Sasa atafanya
kula hata kwa corridor jamani.
Sasa
where your guests are coming in, and again, even if you're eating from there, do it decently. You are in an office, and that is why I'm telling you, some of these problems that we are seeing in these public offices, it is not because of the paper.
Yep.
It is just because of maybe that the culture in that, like, sisi tumefika, sisi ndio kusema hapa kwa ofisi. Sisi tumefika, you cannot tell us anything. Or maybe it is just an attitude of that person. Anaona tu, he just wants to work the way they want to work.
There's a time
how many times have we been told,
Yeah.
like for example, how many times have you gone to these government offices and then you find that the MD ametoa koti ameekelea pale and they are nowhere to be seen
that happens all the time.
The all day you are just mko tu hapo mmepanga tu line, mnaambiwa boss. Little do you know that that guy is far away. Hata kwa Mombasa, you are in Nairobi waiting for him in the office and you not be told.
Yes.
Utakaa ukae baadaye waambie kwamba unajua boss hajafika.
The other thing that I don't like about government institutions, na hiyo tu umesema, you need a signature. So umefika pale na makaratasi yako, umesema ni aje, hii signature inahitajika ya this mdosi, deputy director of whatever.
Yes.
Yeye peke yake ndiye anaweza sign ama mkubwa wake director mwenyewe. Sasa unaambiwa sasa huyu kuja saa 8. Because umefika maybe 12:30.
Yes.
Unaambiwa ameenda lunch. And you're like, okay, fair enough. You go hang around town, Uhuru Park, unaenda kunalala, you bask in the sun.
Yes.
Then you come back at even 2:30. Umepatia ujamaa time ya kwenda arudi, kunywa maji, chakula ianze digestion vizuri. Unafika hapo and you're told hajarudi bado. So you sit and wait. 2:30, 3, 3:30, 4, 5. Unaambiwa huyu fanya hivi, wacha karatasi yako, kujia lini? Kujia kesho.
Yes.
When he comes in the morning, we shall make sure that he signs. So you leave your paper with that officer that has told you to leave it. And you go. You come back tomorrow maybe at around even 11, 12. Hopefully, hoping that the director came in the morning and signed. Unafika hapo. Unaambiwa hata ametoka hapa saa hizi. Unasema lakini si uliniambia ni kuachie paper hata sign. Anakuambia I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Fanya hivi ameenda meeting akirudi I'll have him sign. So you're taking for these rounds for almost a week, 2 weeks.
So it's
only to discover later someone just wants a bribe.
What's something? So
they want motivation to give the director to give the director your form to sign. Hapo ndo unakaa tu unauliza huyu jamaa, okay boss, unataka ngapi?
So let me
ama unamwambia aki director akisign nitakununulia soda. So when you come now back the day after, this is after
unapata kazi yako imefanyika
after a month of drama.
Yes.
Sasa unarudi sasa unamwambia
unapata kazi yako anakuambia hata alisign.
Unapata unaona amesign hapa. Hata kuna nyingine kuna fomu kwanga nayo nilikujazia. Nikakuwekea.
It is here. So basically that is not about the certificates.
Yes. It's about chai.
That's not about this person is not qualified to be in that position. It's all about
ni soda tu.
Yes.
Ni soda tu kumenunua.
Yeah, so I think the government, as it pushes for these people to have these papers to go back to school, there's much to that, like watu
Ethics.
Yes, watu wafundishwe work ethics, especially in this public office institutions and so forth.
Yeah.
So that now we will get to where we want to get to.
Soda mimi sina shida kununua by the I like appreciating people, especially kama ni kitu ilikuwa imenisumbua na umeniambia, because there sometimes and this I don't know if it happens to you because maybe of being a public figure. Jamaa nakuona zile mbovi. Mimi kwanza naingianga kwa hizi maofisi naitwa msanii. Msanii. And someone is so efficient in what they do, mpaka wewe mwenyewe unamwambia bro, ni aje? Hata najua umeenda above and beyond, umezunguka hizi departments and it was not your work.
Yes.
I can buy you soda. A literal soda. By the way, kama kuna duka hapo na kwamenga ingia hapa. Pewa mandazi, pewa soda ile unapenda. Kama ni chai unataka, tumalize hiyo story. But ile ya umenizungusha, wiki imeisha, wiki mbili, then unaniambia nimepatia boss hii karatasi, then ndio ako nayo huko. Then you go to the boss tells you the same thing. Hii yako mbuvi na umechelewa. Hii ulikuwa unafaa kuleta by 1st of June. Sasa tutakusaidia aje? You see, when they start talking like that, unajuanga huyu anataka chai. And when it gets to the director's office, it wants more tea, not the usual tea. So anyway, when they go back to school, I hope these are some of the things that the CS ensures that they get. To be honest, number one, like you've said, communication skills, customer care, and then now the work ethic, moral ethics, hizo zote tu, moral conduct, hizo zote.
That is what we literally need, especially as a country. And because mambo tunayaona katika hizi ofisi,
someone just to have courtesy.
It's just too much. It's just too much. And now this also brings us to the requirements for the political seats.
Yes.
Unakumbuka that time when they were told that you guys, you need to, if you want to go to vie for the position of an MP,
right,
you must have your degree if you want to do this. So now when you say now
MP,
the public,
MP wanataka degree kweli?
The public all the top officials, don't you see also an MCA is also
public official?
But MCA is also interacting with the who is who in that in his area of jurisdiction, and also in their katika bunge yao pia. Yes.
Because we've seen some footages somewhere of MCAs who can't even speak even Kiswahili, because Kiswahili is more of a national language.
Yes.
English is a national language, and I know sometimes tunasemanga unajua kizungu ilikuja na meli nini. Fine, you might not know how to speak English, but at least know how to speak Kiswahili. You might not know how to speak Kiswahili, but at least know how to speak English. Sometimes the way they articulate, you might find by there you have very good policies as an MCA.
Yes.
That you can implement for your county, for your ward, but you just don't know how to express that. How do you write bills? Because a bill is something that you need to know mpangilio. There's a way you present a bill. You just don't go and give the speaker a bill umwambie we hii ni bill ya ku make sure watu wako na degrees ya university. No, there's a way you structure it. So if you're an MCA or you're an MP and you don't know how to do these things, man, there's a problem. Also just how you communicate with your constituents.
Yes.
When you come to the ground, you've seen some MCAs and MPs who insult constituents. I don't know if you've seen that. And I will pick one, Karen Nyamu. She's not elected, she was nominated. And she's speaking to Kenyans because now she's working for us all. She's not working for a specific constituency or county. Yes. Umeona tu venye saa zingine anatutukananga. Mpaka tumeonyeshwa vidole za kati huko kwa inaitwa nini?
What?
Yes. What do you mean?
What?
Karen Nyamu has insulted Kenyans on social media. Yeah? And it is because of, again, we circle back to something called emotional intelligence. Yes. I do not know her education background, but I feel like we need to get to a point whereby we respect the people who put us in power. I cannot come to radio here and insult my listeners. Yes. If I feel like the listeners are not, we are not in tandem, what do? I resign. Niende nikauze mboga huko kwa soko mali watu wanatukana kawaida. You understand? So I feel like we need to come to a point whereby as elected leaders, for our elected leaders rather, they need to probably even themselves go back to school. Some of these people we know waliingia huko kwa parliament through back doors and other means that we do not want to mention here on air, but it is very imperative that at least if you're going to be in that position, please learn what that position entails, learn what you need to perform in that particular position so that you can do service delivery for Kenyans.
Yeah, basically that is what we want.
Yes, service delivery.
Service delivery. Yeah, that is all Kenyans want, because you're put in that position.
Yeah.
You are elected in that position so that you can serve the citizens, and not just serving,
So,
giving the best.
but according to this particular situation that the Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Kiringa Ruku has directed the government officials to acquire, it goes on to say this about political appointees, that the government is committed to ensuring that the public service is effective, efficient, and develops the required knowledge, umesikia, skills, umesikia,
Yes.
competencies, umesikia,
Yes.
and a positive work ethos in its human capital. However, this commitment has been undermined by the suspension of some mandatory in-service training programs, further exacerbating the skills gap. Unakumbuka tukiuliza kama makarao wanaendanga refresher courses?
Yes.
I think they go for bunduki.
They do, yes.
Za bunduki najua wanaendanga.
Waweza kuwa ulisahau.
At least ujue how to, and sometimes just to check your well-being in terms of your physical ability to even just hold a gun.
Yeah.
Ndio usikuwa na hold gun if you're trying to aim at a target and you end up shooting a stray bullet, killing people. But I feel like sometimes these refresher courses are not sufficient. Yeah, so that needs to be addressed as well.
Okay. I like that fact that sometimes you can do the refresher courses and those in-service trainings also, because this really will help improve your performance.
Right.
And especially for those of them that are in advanced age. Najua sasa mtu alisoma ile ya kitambo.
Zile 733.
Yes, now you want to get them to class.
Mali walikuwa wanaita points za university division 1,
Yes.
division 2.
You want to take this person back to class. Where will they start? Naanzia wapi?
And you're dealing with Gen Zs who are getting in the office and they're telling you, I know my rights.
And then you go to class. You meet your grandchild.
Mwenye nakwambia, excuse me madam, wayuwa.
Your grandchild uko na yeye pale.
You're trying to tell them umechelewa kazi, nakwambia excuse me, I did not have breakfast na singekuja kazini kasi jashiba.
Yeah,
try telling that really, to my mother. She will swallow you whole.
Wow.
That needs to be checked, because there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between the generations, by the even in the workforce, a very huge disconnect.
Well, actually, you know what? Actually, that is what I would really insist on. We want to have such trainings that are going to make this generation actually to fill in that gap between this, to bridge that gap between these generations, because working with millennials is different with working with Gen Zs. It will also be sasa worse working with the alpha.
Our children.
Yes.
Do you know, I was reading something somewhere about Gen Zs and the way they work in the office. Of course, they consider their mental well-being paramount, even in the workplace. Unajua sisi kama millennials tumezoea unafanya kazi hata unatukano na mdosi and you just move on. Mdosi anakuambia vitu zingine, some very unethical stuff.
Yes.
Which is wrong, but still you
stick around.
You take it in. And you take it and you have your chin held up and you perform. Yes. And especially in media, people have been, me have been to media houses where people unaongeleshwa vibaya na mdosi wako. Some of them are even racist. Some of them are very toxic.
Yes.
They body shame you.
Yes.
They attack your language, attack your accent. But you still come to work the next morning
and perform.
Na unafanya kazi. Kwanza hiyo wakati amekutukana kazi inaendelea. Gen Z saizi umtukane, wewe jua kwanza kazi imesimama.
Itasimama hapo.
You deal with this situation first. Hii matusi umempatia.
Yes. I think it is interesting in the workplace. So interesting, especially when you have these Gen Zs on board. Na unajua katika hizi ofisi za serikali. The truth is, the government, who is the biggest employer in whichever country, will bring forth generations zote. Like the government is the one of the, it is that has employed all the generations.
Yes.
Unapata ile ya kwanza ilikuwa inaitwa nani?
Boomers. Unasema nini generation ya kwanza? Of course there have been more, but the one
up
that
to the retirement
mali tunaanza kuongelea ni kwa boomers. Yes.
Utapata boomers wako pale.
Yes.
They are seated in the same office actually, and they could also be in the same department and even doing the same roles.
Yes.
A boomer. Ukuja upate nani tena? Millennial, that is generation Y. Utapata pale pia generation
X.
Yes. So you will find all of them there
in the same office.
So tell me, how is this boomer supposed to deal with this Gen Z?
Yeah.
Gen Z mwenye sasa ukimwongelesha kwa bia, don't shout at me.
Yeah. I can hear you. You don't have to be loud.
You are toxic. You are toxic.
You don't have to be loud.
So boss amekwambia you need to do this, and you are like no, I don't like working in a toxic environment. Boss, you are toxic.
Akikwambia come here you idiot. Who are you calling an idiot?
So I think it is very important, by the way. Yeah, I think the government should invest more into bridging this gap. That is what I really look forward to.
Yes.
Because bosses are confused in their offices.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because now they're like, okay, how do I deal with these people? How will I make them perform?
Right.
Because
and that is why those managers now,
yes,
according to the CS, need
once
to
they go to school
back for training so that they can understand.
Why can't you just tailor make some curriculum there? Wasome wakiendelea na wakiwa hapo kwa hiyo kazi.
Right.
Must they go back to the university?
But you know, there are some things, like I've said, and you need to understand this again. There are some things that you just need a whole master's degree for you to be trained as a manager. Being trained as a manager, Wayua, is not something you're told, come here. So now from today, you make sure a movie is in the studio by 6. All right? Make sure fulani ameingia kule by 7. Make sure chai no. Management is an entire career. Management is how to handle when movie and another person are fighting. How do you handle that conflict? Management is just knowing how to handle someone's shortcomings. For example, you have noticed movie is always coming late. You need to understand why movie is coming late. Not every time he comes late unamtukana unamzushia. Maybe you need to understand he lives very far. Maybe where he lives is not secure. He cannot leave early.
Do you need 2 years to go back to school to be able to understand that?
Management is a critical component of leadership. Because leadership is not just telling people, if you're not here by 6, you're fired. No. Leadership is understanding. For those who can't be here at 6, is it possible to accommodate them at 7? Can we see how we can, probably if they can be here at 7, instead of leaving at 5, then they leave at 6.
Maybe it's, they leave, yeah.
Yeah, you understand? Or there's challenges of people getting food in the office. Hakuna mahali kuna chakula pakaribu. Is it possible to have outside catering? How we can handle that? Watu watachanga pesa ama ni kampuni tafute mali pesa? It's a whole, si vitu unasomesha ngwa na siku mbili, Patricia. Management ni kuelewa watu. Management ni kujua human resource. The people that are working for you and under you. Yeah, and those are things you cannot be taught in 2 minutes. All right, so we're just about to get into the, what is it called? We're about to get into the news, but before we do that, kama kawaida, we'd like to give you some shout outs so we can see who's tuned in and where you are tuning in from. So I will start here with a couple of individuals. Let me see. Oh, nani sasa. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, here we go. We have Nelly Nay. A very good morning to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Dorcas Mashine, or is it Mama Shine? Issa Zanto, good morning. How are you doing? Gatwiri Besi, a very good morning to you. Faith Kangai, umesema you're tuning in all the way from Garissa. Hey, Faith, unafanya ni Garissa? Na ameniambia movie kuna spark kama 3 huku. Ukifika huku niambia nitakuonyesha. Thank you so much. Zipora Ombogo, how are you doing? Steven Libembe, big shout out to you as well. Judith Akini, habari ya asubuhi. Olu Jacobs, thank you very much for tuning in. You're saying that Radio Generation is a new powerhouse. Thank you so much. Henza Ekale, you're saying that you're enjoying the conversations. Ses Njoroge as well, good morning. Eva Wangare, habari yako. Wekesa C, habari yako. Ani Mwea, names are many here, so let me just stop at Jaden Aiden. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Ross Wanchiru anasema kutoka Dagoretti she's tuned in. I can also see someone Buthia all the way from Kasarani anasema is tuned in on 88.8. Kimwele anasema kwamba anasikiza online all the way from Tito Andei. Oh, yeah, I can also see Pamela anasema ako tu around, just around here. Afuraha Christine all the way from Malindi, you're saying that you are tuned in. Thank you so much guys for tuning in. Deva Boy, I can see your comment also. You're saying that you are in as usual.
Did you say Lover Boy?
Deva Boy.
Oh, Deva Boy.
Yes, that's what he's calling himself. Then there's Mwaringa, all the way from Kilifi. I see you guys, you're saying that Trisha tuko ndani kabisa. Mutuku Ndavi, thank you for tuning in.
Ndavi Mutuku sounds like a person I went with to university.
Where?
KU.
Yeah, you should
Alikuwa
be the one. Yes,
alikuwa KU.
He's the one.
Msalimie sana.
Mutuku Ndavi. Yes,
nakumbuka watu wote.
He's the one actually.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, thank you so much guys. Keep on sending your shoutouts. We said you can find us across all social media stations at Radio Generation KE or Kenya, depending on the platform that you're going to find us on. That is Facebook, we have IG, we have X, and we definitely have TikTok as well. If you'd like to listen to us in the diaspora, it is rgk.co.ke. Make sure that everyone, by the way, watu wote unawajua kwa Minnesota, waambie tafadhali wa tune in. And in case your frequency is giving you issues, don't worry.
Yeah.
You can find us on the same website, that is rgk.co.ke. You'll find a lot of stories there as well.
And by the way, if you open that our website, by the way, it's just automatic. Ukifungua tu you just see that click where when you click, you are in
the play button.
Yes.
All right, so here's the news with Samuel Otieno.
It's 8:59.
Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno. The funeral date for the late blogger Albert Ojwang will be announced later, according to his father Meshach. Meshach says he will continue the pursuit for justice over his son's death. Speaking from his home in Homa Bay County yesterday, the grieving father said the decision was necessary, given the national attention his son's death has drawn. Ojwang died in police custody earlier this month after being arrested in connection with a social
Ni jana ndio nimeleta habari kwa watu wa Kakosi na Kokwanyo kwa ujumla kwamba Albert ameaga dunia. Kwa hivyo ni wakati wa maombolezo.
Meshach added the family has received support from both President William Ruto and ODM Chief Raila Odinga.
Namshukuru Rais kwa kuchukua kijana wangu Albert Omondi kama kijana wake na kuhisi kuona kitu. Sababu wengi wameaga dunia jana, hata juzi, hata wiki jana. Lakini alichagua kuchukua mzigo huo kama wake ili akaweze kusema pole kupitia kwa simu yangu. Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga ambaye pia ni mzee wetu alichukua fursa ya kunipigia simu akiwa nje ya nchi.
The government has denied claims it's playing a direct role in fueling the conflict in Sudan. Addressing the media on Monday, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura says Kenya's involvement is purely diplomatic. He said Kenya is focusing on mediating between the rival groups in Sudan in an effort to broker a ceasefire. He added that Kenya's peace efforts are being guided by the framework of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development.
So there have been peace efforts. In February 2025, the Sudan Founding Alliance, including RSF, signed the Sudan Founding Charter in Nairobi to form a peace government. A transitional charter followed in March, and RSF declared a government of peace and unity in April 2025. So there are regional and international dynamics on the same. There are external actors.
728 non-compliant health facilities have been shut down across the country, while 301 others have been downgraded. This comes as the government intensifies efforts to weed out unlicensed and substandard service providers. Health CS Aden Duale said the closures are meant to remove quacks from the industry and restore public confidence in health services. He said the ministry will continue the crackdown on unlicensed facilities.
And we will go to all counties and all constituencies and all wards. And I really want to ask the Kenyan people to report two things. One, if they see a facility that don't qualify to be called a health facility, report those fake facilities, report those quack doctors and healthcare workers who are treating our patients and who are risking their lives.
All gold mining sites within West Pokot County have been shut down with immediate effect. West Pokot County Commissioner Abdullahi Khalif stated that the decision arises from rising cases of fatalities and wanton environmental degradation linked to unregulated mining. Khalif said the ongoing unregulated mining activities have not only endangered human lives, but also polluted local.
The government has directed sites within West Pokot County. There are over 500 gold mining sites in areas of Kambi Karai, Laminyausi, along Takwel River, Seker. There are also mining sites in Pokot North, areas of Kasei, Kiwawa.
And finally, the UNHCR has carried out a review of its activities, expenditure, staffing and structures following a plunge in humanitarian funding. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has been among a host of UN and private aid agencies badly hit by funding cuts by the United States. The US, which was by far the agency's biggest donor, has slashed its foreign aid under a radical spending review ordered by President Donald Trump. Other countries have also cut humanitarian spending.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed, a very good morning to you, my neighbors. This is Radio Generation. My name is Mungala Mbuvi. You're catching us in Nairobi on 88.8 and in Mombasa it's 90.7. We are so excited that you've decided to join us this particular morning.
On our social media pages, find us at Radio Generation Kenya. That is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on X. You just find us at Radio Generation. If you want to follow us online, by the way, you can just get into our website at rgk.co.ke. There you'll be able to get on our online, and at the same time you'll be able to follow on our news. We have, by the way, our reporters there reporting news as they happen.
I mentioned yesterday,
yes,
that we have listeners in Russia.
Yeah.
Ukacheka.
Yeah.
Mbona? Hauamini yani watu wa Russia wanaweza tusikiza.
Well, I know they can, and actually they are doing it through our online stream.
Exactly. rgk.co.ke.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're there, kindly listen to us and let us know how far, by the way, our listenership is. But it is now 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. It's the last hour of the People's Breakfast, and we just want to focus on a few things here that we feel are of importance to Kenyans. There is a story on page 20 of the People Daily, and this is what it says, that experts call for radical shift after wave of high-profile startup failures. There are some people who've done like some kind of survey, and they have found out that a lot of businesses, by the way, are unable to go past their third year. Some even don't go past their 6 months rather after they have started up, and they're failing a lot. And there's another story that Patricia has actually found on is it the Star newspaper?
No, it's a standard. It's just an expert opinion about issues to do with loans. And this is from Peter Muriu, who is a consultant, a policy analyst, and a lecturer of finance and economics at the University of Nairobi.
All right.
And this is what he says about bad loans. He says, what Kenya can do to reduce the high number of bad loans.
Right.
Well, and there's something that is important of importance that he said, that the best indicator of an economy that is performing well is low levels of non-performing loans.
Low levels of non-performing
loans.
That
you know
means
what I'll
Non-performing loans, of course, loans that are unable to be serviced, bad loans.
Yes. And this, by the way, reminds me of vile wa Kenya as of what was that wakati serikali launched is it COPA, but what the Mshwari?
No, Hustler
Fund. Yeah, when people were given that opportunity to borrow from the government, how Kenyans really borrowed. Yeah,
I hear within the first day or something they had borrowed to the tune of billions.
Yes, and that is now the problem is how much of those loans have been repaid.
So here's an interesting fact, that the fact that you've actually mentioned there's a Hustler Fund.
Yes.
Do you know many other funds the government has provided for Kenyans?
So many.
All right, so let's just look at some of them. There's the Women Enterprise Fund.
Yes.
You know of that one?
Yeah, I know.
So there's you know of the Youth Enterprise Fund?
Yes.
Do you know there's one called Nyota? Unajua kuna fund inaitwa Nyota?
Yes.
Najua si watu wengi wanajua hii.
Have you benefited from it?
No. No, I've not. I've not borrowed it, yeah? I just want to do a quick Google here of the Nyota project, Nyota Fund rather. It's a government fund, and this is what, Google has to say about it. The Nyota Fund is part of the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement, and that is why it is abbreviated as Nyota. Yeah, so Nyota Project, a Kenyan government initiative aimed at empowering young people through employment and income generation. It focuses on improving access to employment, increasing earnings, and promoting a culture of saving among vulnerable youths. The project is implemented in all 47 counties and targets youth aged 18 to 29 with an extension of, extension to 35 for those with disabilities. Yeah. So here are the key aspects of Nyota. The target audience tumesema ni 18 to 29.
Yes.
Components, the project includes apprenticeship, business support including training and startup capital and mentorship. It also encourages a saving culture among participants. Of course, how you can apply, applications can be submitted through a USSD code *254# or by visiting county offices of the State Department for Youth Affairs and Creative Economy. Yeah, so the project is free to participate in. So Nyota, number one, is for the youth.
Yes.
And don't forget, we still have the Youth Fund.
Yeah.
And we still have the Hustler Fund. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring this into perspective, ndio mujue just how many opportunities are out there that have been provided by the government.
Yes.
For the youth and people with disabilities.
And also to understand
access.
and also to understand where we are coming from when we are talking of non-performing loans.
Yes.
You realize that most of the time we borrow these funds, and at the end of the day, we don't pay.
Yes.
And the fact that it is a government loan and the government will not come after you.
Yeah.
Like, there are these other private loaners.
Institutions, yes.
Yes, who have been giving us loans, and they are calling everybody in your contact list. When you are registering.
And that's illegal, by the way.
Let me tell you. Yeah. Okay, when you are registering, you gave consent that they can reach
your contact list.
Yes, your contact list. So now, I remember, just for fun, this one is just...
on a light note.
Yes. But there's this guy who had borrowed some funds from this private institutions.
Yeah.
And then...
they're called digital money lenders.
Then what happened was, these people called the boss. Directly. Ambia na boss, ambia huyo kijana yako alipe.
Your employee akona 5,000 yetu.
Akona 5,000, utalipa ulipi? Utalipa ulipi?
Sasa hizo boss anakuita anakuambia,
what is this? What is this?
We pay you 300,000. Ukona 3,000 ya
lipa hii pesa.
Digital loan.
Hii pesa. Okay, well, I think that is also something that the government really regulated.
Yeah.
We are aware of that. The government really regulated as such. But now these are some of the things that are contributing to that high number
of defaulters.
Non-performing, because it is a government, they cannot come after me. So you are like, and because it is a digital platform, these people, digital money lender, they cannot come after you.
Right.
So you can just disappear in the woods, and then that is it. So we have a high number of defaulters. And so this analyst, what he's saying is that one of the many indicators, just one of it is that if to know that your economy is performing well is when we have low levels of non-performing, kwamba people ile namba ya watu ambao hawajalipa ama are not able to pay iko kidogo. It is a sign that something is but now wrong. I want to ask you, as we are right now as Kenyans, do you think what do you think is the number of non-performing loans in our country?
It would be hard to tell this number, but I'll tell you why. Maybe
is it high? Is it low?
I think it's definitely high. Because if you look at it's not higher than the ones that are performing well, but you know they are higher than they are supposed to be. And this is what is happening. If you connect that story on the Star to the one on the People Daily, you will see the fact that a lot of businesses are falling because of they're unable to keep up. They're unable to break even. They're unable to make profits. They're unable just to even get to their first birthday. And those ones that have gotten to their first birthday, chances are will not make it to their second birthday. So this is the thing. A lot of loans are taken because people want to either start a business or fund their businesses. So you're doing or rather you want to get into farming. You want to buy fertilizer, you want to buy the seedlings, you probably even want to buy the land that you want to do that farming on. Then what happens? Your crop dies. You had already borrowed 1 million shillings. That 1 million shillings is not coming back. Where are you going to get that money to pay that loan back? Of course, nowhere. You wanted to start a chicken farm, right? You wanted to start a chicken farm.
Yes.
So you've taken a loan, 500,000. Umeenda umenunua kuku. Kuku wote wamekuja wakakufa. Wale wengine wamekuliwa na mbweha, wengine wamekuliwa na sijui nini. Zingine zimekuja zimeibiwa. Then the others have died because of disease. You're unable to sell the chicken that you had taken on loan to do what?
Yes.
To fund the business. And that one goes. Or you bought a pickup truck. You wanted to do transportation. Biashara imeanguka. Why? Because watu hawataki transport. Watu wanatumia means zingine za transport. Your company fails. That is why we have low levels of defaulted loans. And then another thing I would attribute to non-performing loans.
Yes.
You have established a business. Sawa. People just don't have purchasing power.
Why?
The customers you are expecting to come and buy your chicken, they're not buying. They can't afford the chicken. All right? So umeka kuku zako unaziuza at 600 bob. Watu hawezi afford. Na wewe huwezi teremsha zaidi chini ya 600 bob. Why? Because
it will be a loss for you.
It will be a loss.
Yes.
So now it's either wanunue ama hizi kuku zako sasa wewe uzikule tu pole pole mpaka ile siku zitaisha. And that is why we are having so many loan defaulters, because people are unable to sustain their businesses. It is just not a conducive environment for biashara. And if government just understood that, maybe tutakuwa at a better place. You as my customer, you don't have purchasing power. Chances are you're not employed. Or your business is also not performing.
Yes.
Now, how do I expect you to come and be my customer? Aya, kuna wale tuna extend credit facilities to our customers. So you come as Patricia, you tell me, Paul, sina do leo, but nipatie kuku watatu. You see, nimi nimekupatia, nime advance credit ya 1800 shillings to you. Si ndio?
Yes.
Umechukua kuku watatu na sasa venye umefika huko nje, wewe umekataa kunilipa because pia wewe hujalipwa kazini. So now what happens? Biashara yangu imeangu because watu wako na madeni zangu ni wengi. The economy is just not performing well. Yes.
So now what our consultant here proposes to the government is to ensure that their lending rates are low, and at the same time he proposed that the government should consider external borrowing more than the internal borrowing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some maths there.
Yes.
About
of course,
issues to do with the borrowing rates.
Ukiongea na economist atakupigia hesabu nyingine smart sana. Na kuambie why, because you see we also need money to circulate in the system.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you do not have money in the Kenyan economy, that means if we are not liquid as a country,
yes,
that means money is not in people's pockets, right?
Yes.
And when money is not in our pockets, we can't buy anything. So if the government, and this is just my non-expert opinion,
yes.
If the government is borrowing money locally from our banks, that means also the banks and other institutions, of course, not just banks alone, other institutions as well. It means that I cannot go to my bank today to borrow a loan. or if I'm borrowing a loan, I'm borrowing it at a very high interest rate.
Yeah, of course, because of course the government will getting these loans from the
banks.
Yes. Watawapatia higher rate.
Yes.
You get. Now when you go, and again the risk involved with the government is a bit minimal compared to you as an individual when you borrow. So most of the time, and when now they borrow, you will lack funds also to borrow.
Yes.
Little money in circulation. That's the reason why they encourage you borrow from outside. At least there's
money in the circulation.
Yes.
Because now if our boss, for instance, cannot get credit, he will be unable to pay salaries, because sasa pia yeye maybe clients wake wamemchelewesha. Unaona? So even you as a boss, ile siku utakataa kulipa mfanyikazi wako wa nyumba, mfanyikazi wako wa nyumba hata perform. Yes.
Na pia akitoka kule nje atapatia mama mboga pia pesa. Na
yeye haelewi ni wewe hujalipwa. Na pia wewe sasa uelewi wako pia hajalipwa.
So it's a circle actually, and this brings us to the story of this government state contractors who are now set to wait longer for payments as pending bills, audit, drugs. Yes. Now they have to umepiga kazi na serikali, you have done some contracts with the government, you have to wait longer because this audit that was happening, a lot is being discovered, and a lot is unresolved.
But you know someone also who messed previous governments in the counties, and also just previous account managers in government, because a lot of them were not paying us our monies. People who had gotten tenders. Now you can imagine uko na tender, umefanya kazi tender yako ilikuwa ya 90 million, utengeneze barabara. Utengeneze barabara pale vyo Ngong Road. Na mwenye alikuwa amekupatia contract is no longer in power. Maybe alitolewa in the last general election. Sasa nakwambia boss, unajua ningekusaidia, but I am no longer the governor. I am no longer the CEC in charge of finance. I am no longer the CEC in charge of health. You provided the syringes to the county government hospitals, lakini sasa nikusaidia je? Wewe ndio uongee na ile serikali iko nini? Iko pale. Na wewe kwenda kuongea na hiyo serikali inafanya nini? Inakwambia mwanangu, sasa sitakusaidiaje? Wewe mwenye uliongea na yeye alishaondoka. Wewe amkumpigia kura.
Well, I'm looking at what the CS Treasury says, that the committee to submit the report this month with only 2.75 billion allocated from the previous 10 billion. That is 2024-2025, the allocation 10 billion. Right now, it's 2.75 billion that has been allocated. And this is against, against 684.26 billion. Which is the government, which is the amount of money the government and the counties all surplus according to the controller of budget report.
Where?
684.26 billion.
So there's someone who's unable
to... Sasa, what has been allocated is what? 2.75 billion.
So there's roughly 4 billion somewhere. Kule hewani tu.
I'm saying 684.26 billion.
600 and... So there's another 600 just waiting.
This is a combination of what the national government owes to suppliers, plus what the counties, the different counties, out of the 47 counties, owe to suppliers.
I have a buddy, a friend, who supplied a tender, or rather who serviced a tender.
Yes.
A county government of Machakos. Wakati wa Alfred Mutua. Na bado hajalipwa.
Hadi sasa. And
we're talking about the first term of Alfred, not the second term. First term of Alfred Mutua.
That's almost 15 years. Huh?
Yeah.
So now, out of this 684, 511.75 is what is owed to businesses by the state, while county spending bills stood at 172.51. Nairobi County accounts for the largest share of 115.69 billion, which is 67% of the amounts of county spending bills. You see, out of this 511 that is now pending, we are told that the government, the national government, out of the 684, the national government is 511. billion.
We.
Weka sasa wale wamefanyia sasa
Gava.
the national government. Yes. Now 172.51 billion ni za counties ambapo Nairobi alone, out of the 172,
right.
Nairobi County alone iko na 115.69, which is a translation of 69%.
Have they said for which period this is? Is it like money owed from which year to which year?
This is as per now as we speak.
As of today,
Yes.
regardless of the year?
Yes.
We. Nani akona namba ya Governor Sakaja? We need to call him right now.
So, you know, I'm looking at, Mbuvi, I'm looking at this 115.69. Hapa kuna pesa ya mtu alienda kukopa. Like what you are saying, eh?
Yeah, people have taken out loans.
Kukopa loan, akuje pale, afanye biashara, hoping to be paid soon so that they go back and
Today,
clear
Tricia,
their loan. Yes.
Today, Tricia, you're given a tender by the government. Maybe say Ministry of Education. You provide textbooks.
Yes.
Or exercise books for the children, or even pens.
Yes.
And that exercise is going to cost you, say, even 50 million. I don't even know how much it would cost, but this is just a random figure.
Yes.
50 million.
Yes.
For you to provide this service.
Yeah.
Where uko na 50 million? That money, chances are, you would
You're
need to go borrow.
Yes.
So you'll either borrow the bank, or you borrow Jimmy Wanjigi, if he's your friend. Yeah? Or you borrow someone like Manu Chandaria.
Yes.
Or Vimalsha. Because I can assure you, mimi vinye ninakuona una 50 million.
How much do I have?
Story for another day. So you go borrow a bank, your favorite bank or the bank that you bank with, and they advance you that 50 million because they can see this is a government tender. Wanajua utawalipa because government does not lie.
Yes.
So assuming you're that friend of mine mwenye ulifanyia Mheshimiwa Alfred Mutua governor supply na sasa hujalipwa, it's been how many years? 10 years later. You tell me why you haven't sold your land. Tell me why you haven't sold your parents' land. Tell me why you've not done harambezi Nairobi mpaka sasa unajulikana kama ule Trisha wa harambe. Every time you're just borrowing. Tell me why you have not lost your mind.
Yes.
Unashindanga pale panaitwaje Mathare, unaneanga dawa za pressure na dawa za just calm you down. Yes. Do you know the people who in this country right now, because of these standards that you've just read, that is where they are.
So should we say that is the reason why most of these tenders basi zitabaki tu za wakubwa?
Zinakwanga za kujuana, of course.
Zitabaki tu za wakubwa because like Mbuvi, you will not tell me right now, yes, umepata tender ni ya 10 million.
Yeah.
You have, and you know what is happening. You know what has been happening.
Yes.
So umetoka pale umepeleka LPO, umepelekea bank LPO. So your LPO time yake imefika.
Yeah.
Nothing is coming forth.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So now the bank now says
has
now
auctioned you. They have even nothing now to sell.
They will tell you now your LPO no. So we are coming. You put some of your assets as security.
I don't know whether banks actually are funding tenders nowadays. Yeah, because they know. Unless uende kwa James Mwangi, ule wa Equity, the CEO, umwambie James, nimeongea na Sakaja personally. Nimeongea na Wavinya personally. Ameniashua hii do. I promise you by December itakuwa imetoka. And you will need a lot of convincing to convince James Mwangi. He's now called Dr. James Mwangi. It will take a lot of convincing for you to convince Dr. James Mwangi to give you that 50 million. Hii hata utaenda kwa branch manager. This one you have to go talk to the CEO himself.
Yes, and again for you to convince the CEO, you are telling him that
lazima number one, lazima mko hivi tight.
Well, like first of all, like you want to convince him, because you are saying that maybe you've met the governor, whoever is giving you. Again, the governor has no power over this. Remember, this is an allocation that is supposed to come from the national government.
This is after you've won we're talking about the county ones.
Yes.
This is after you have won the tender. Umwambie sasa ndio hii tender niko nayo ndio here it is. Now fund this tender. Nimeongea hata Wavinya kuja keti hapa na sisi, governor Wavinya kuja keti hapa aambie James Mwangi. Sasa yeye ndiye anaambia James Mwangi tutapatia Mbuvi 50 milioni yake by December. Mupatieni hiyo pesa.
Well,
Yeah?
it's not easy.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not easy, and that is I feel maybe that is the reason why the most of these tenders will remain
Yeah.
za wale wakubwa,
Wenye wanajuana.
wale wanajiweza, like
Na wenye
you
wanajuana.
have the funds. Sasa movie layman like you going there, is saying that you want to risk with your 10 million.
Yeah. you have to be as rich as Dangote for you to just put your money in there and wait for the government to pay you. The tenders that sorry, mimi zile tenda naweza cheza nazo if I ever win one,
Yes.
which I will never apply for, by the way. But if I ever decide to apply for, ninaweza apply to tenda to 50,000, to tenda to cost 100,000. You to naweza apply. Ndio hata hiyo pesa ikienda roho yangu itasimama. Nikieka 100,000 and the money that I'm supposed to get back is 500,000. Naweza cheza na hiyo tenda. You understand? But I go there, mimi niende hivi kwa bank. Tuliona jana ni the CEO of Cooperative Bank is paid 475 million yearly.
Yes.
I go to that bank cooperative and I tell them, give me 50 million. I go apply for a tender in Kitui County or Makueni County or sijui which other, not me.
Okay.
Not me.
Should I say you are a coward?
I'm a coward. Cowards live longer. Wewe utaenda kuapply.
You are a coward. You know,
Well,
it just reminded me of there's one lady who had applied for some, I won't quote the company, but just one of these government agencies in Mombasa.
Right.
So she had applied for some tender, and so after she supplied everything, actually she was living in a 3-bedroom house, of course, being able to afford all the bills for the kids, nice school, and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, her problems started the moment she engaged in that tender issue.
Yeah.
So everything was auctioned. She had to leave,
Yeah.
go to a single room.
Bed sitter.
Yes, not even a bed sitter, single room. There is a difference.
Yeah. Studio apartment. I'm a single room.
I'm telling you, single room is that which does not have the washrooms, the bathrooms
haina
inside.
sink, it's just a room.
Haina sink, una pali pa kupikia. Imagine all the way from a 3-bedroom house, you're going back to a single room just because you risked a tender. Yes.
So you want me to risk?
Yeah,
Mimi unajua
decide.
mtani auction kila kitu.
Successful people are risk takers. Yes.
Anyway.
Successful people, by the way, even for you to be here,
Yeah.
somebody has
Risked.
Yes.
No, we'll talk about that
Somebody
risk.
has risked to put this up so that you can also be here.
We'll
It's a
talk
risk
about
taker, yes.
We shall talk about risks after the traffic update, yeah?
Okay.
Wacha tuambie watu barabara gani. Uko na hiyo umepata hiyo ngamia lane ya Garissa?
No. I have not seen it. I'm yet to confirm about that road.
Traffic.
All right, so here's the truth of the matter, guys. It's now exactly 30 minutes past 9 o'clock, and barabara ziko sawa for now. If I'm actually still on the Garissa road, but things are looking fantastic there. Actually, hata barabara inakaa green yote. Let's move on to a place called Nairobi, Kenya, and this is where we probably will be having some traffic on some major roads. For instance, I am looking at barabara ya Wangige. Things are looking good for you guys. Hata hamna complain yoyote. Let me look at Kikuyu. Coming from Zambezi stage all the way to Kikuyu, Thogoto Teachers College, things are looking good on your end. If I go to the Southern Bypass also looking good. Eastern Bypass also nothing to complain about as far as traffic updates are concerned, or rather snarl-ups are concerned. Nairobi County is definitely happy at 30 minutes past 9 o'clock. Trisha,
Yes.
which road have you found?
Well, I just want to go to Mombasa.
Yep.
Yeah,
Tuambie Mombasa
people really
wanasemaje.
need to be updated on what is happening in their roads. And ulisema barabara ni ya Ndongo Kundu.
Yes. Ni Ndogo Kundu.
No, Ndongo.
Ndongo.
Yes.
D-O-N-G-O.
Yes.
Ndongo.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Ndongo Kundu.
Mnasemaje Ndongo Kundu?
Yes, everything is clear. Watu ambao wanataka kwenda Diani, those sides of South Coast,
Yeah.
everything is just quite okay. On your way to Malindi, everything is okay. Although between lights, Bombululu, that area, by the way, all the time there's always a bit of a snarl up. Yeah, so you better be informed. You can take the Links Road utokee kule mbele, that is Kenol, if you're planning to use that road. Then on the sides of Ferry, everything is clear.
All right. I was actually not expecting to see any traffic this particular time of the morning, because by now, kama hujafika kazini, my friend, it's either you're fired ama you are your own boss, of which we definitely hope you are your own boss.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
All right, thank you so much for sticking with us. We're just doing the last 20 or so minutes of the show, and we are very excited. I can tell you for a fact that indeed you guys are giving us some positive feedback as far as our online interaction is concerned. Remember, you can find us on 88.8 in Nairobi, 90.7 in Mombasa, Garissa it's 89.5, Lamu it's 92.6, sorry, and of course Malindi it's 92.1. We are insisting, hata kama uko mahali hakuna internet, hakuna network coverage,
yes,
you can always find us at rgk.co.ke. People in the diaspora by now, they should have known. Kama uko na auntie yako, brother yako, sister yako, ama your grandmother mwenye ako huko hivyo Australia, UK, Uganda, na ungependa wasikize mambo ya Kenya, tafadhali let them know that we are alive and well, and we are live and direct on rgk.co.ke.
Yes, and because this is the home of hard truth and bold insights, we would like to ask you, by the way, which leader do you want us to bring you here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we are going to be bringing some high-profile individuals.
Yes.
Starting very soon. I don't want to tell you when, because I want to surprise you. And our first guest is going to be a very high-profile individual.
And that is why I'm asking them, like,
yes,
maybe you have your leader whom you would want
yes,
to be held accountable,
right,
to come here to explain maybe the happenings in your area. Yes, then we are giving you this opportunity. Unaweza tuambia niletee mbunge wangu hapo.
Ndio.
Yes, I want him to answer this and this and this.
And also sometimes I feel like we don't congratulate them enough, or even just give them a pat on their back.
Yes.
Not because they've done anything extraordinary,
yeah,
but because they've actually performed.
Yeah.
Because we are so used to leaders here in Kenya not performing. You understand? Yeah, so maybe kuna MCA wako amefanya kazi poa, ama mbunge wako amefanya kazi poa,
yes,
senator wako amefanya kazi fiti, o governor wako amefanya kazi poa.
You want to appreciate them?
Ama president wako amefanya kazi poa. Utuambie mbuvi tafadhali, my president is, William Samoei Ruto, please call him to the studio, and I want to say thank you because he has done ABCD.
Yeah.
Or my governor is Wavinya, she has done this, and we'll definitely get them here.
There's a friend of mine who told me that Kenya is a paradise. I should be bringing him here. Yeah, he needs to tell Kenyans. He needs to tell Kenyans why Kenya is a paradise. Yes.
Is your friend a foreigner?
Yes, he's a foreigner, and he told me that, by the way, you people, you complain a lot. Actually, he was comparing us with Italians. So he told me, you need to understand that your country is a paradise. He told me that we need to be appreciating these things we are seeing, the little things that we are seeing in our country, because there are some other countries, my friend.
Is your friend from Uganda?
No.
Is your friend from Rwanda?
Not from Africa.
Is your friend
my friend is not from Africa.
Is your friend from Kosovo?
No, not at all.
Kosovo ni wapi? Huko kuko na shida mingi. Is your friend from Ukraine?
No.
Okay.
But he told me that he compares us with Italians. I asked him why are you comparing us with Italians?
Is he from Gaza?
Like, no. And I was telling me that you Kenyans, you're just like, why? He said that we like complaining, but I'm like, no, Kenyans don't just complain. They are complaining for reasons. Yeah,
we want better for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I told him, I know Kenyans don't just complain. They complain because maybe their expectations,
are not being met.
They're not getting the services that they require and so forth. But he told me, you need to understand that Kenya is a paradise. And he told me, call me one day, I'm going to tell you why Kenya is a paradise.
But and I think we even said this yesterday, that we would like better roads. Yes, we have roads. You know, there are people who come here from other countries and wanasema, bana Kenya, barabara zenyu ziko safi, especially Tanzanians, They'll come here and wanasema, barabara zenyu ziko sawa, ni safi, hewa safi. Unajua? They'll come and tell us we have nice big hotels,
yes.
You know, 5-star, 7-star hotels. They'll tell us that we have great tourist destinations, akina Malindi, Lamu, Watamu, you know, and that is okay. But we want better because
Kenyans want better.
We know we can get better.
The best, yes.
Why should we have, for instance, we have very many lakes here in the country. We have very many rivers here in the country.
Yes.
Why should we only have water on specific days of the week in our taps? Water should flow daily. All right. We even have areas where there's a lot of catchment of water that don't have, for example, Kisumu. You know, I've lived in Kisumu.
Yes.
I hope it has changed. I was in Kisumu in the 2014s and the 2015s.
Okay.
And we had water problems. The water was salty. We have technology today, Patricia, that can filter water. We can have clean drinking water. The technology has been available for decades. Why is it in 2025 kuna watu Kisumu wanakunywa salty water
while you are just next
to a lake,
a fresh
water lake?
Yes, you just next to a fresh water lake.
Mombasa pia maji ni ya chumvi na the excuse is ocean maji chumvi. No,
let me tell you something. You see, when these coastal leaders, when they are part of their manifestos is that once I get this position, I'm going to ensure that there's no water. I'm going to solve the water shortage issue. They have even talked of water. Is it salination?
Yes, desalination.
Desalination, the ocean water.
Yeah.
They have talked. They've said we are going to partner with international organizations. We're going to put plants to ensure that there's desalination of the ocean water. We should be suffering, but then later on, nothing happens. And I'm yet to see what really happens. Ama wakati unafanya campaign, things are possible, but when now you get there, things become impossible.
That is why Kenyans are always complaining, because we know we can get better, and we want to complain right now so that our kids can get that better. You know, so that we are fighting now so that our children don't have to fight.
I think, as I told you, we're gonna invite him here.
Yeah.
He will come.
He
will point to us one by one, by one, why he thinks that Kenya is a paradise.
I can't wait for that conversation. I can't wait. But I've told you, I've been outside this country, and what we think is a paradise, I'm telling you out there, I have relatives who left this country and they do not want to come back. Yes. They're like, Mimi, Paul siwezi kuja Nairobi kungangana na vumbi tena.
Wanalipa ushuru?
No, they're not. They are living in Germany. Wanalipa ushuru kwa Kenya wafanya nini?
Hawataki kulipa ushuru.
Wanafanya kazi Germany, wacha walipe ushuru ya Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they tell me, Paul, the situation in Nairobi is just apana. Vumbi kwa capital city aje. Maji inakosekana kwa capital city aje. Traffic snarl up in the capital city, yani, and it is we say we have these experts, professors, and PhD holders, and God knows what kind of other kinds of scholars, and we are suffering like this. Why?
When I was planning to come over to Nairobi, I was so excited. I had read somewhere that Nairobi people are planning to have some underground parking, underground roads.
Yes.
Within the CBD.
And we want even a subway.
In the CBD.
Yes.
So hizi stories are parking, stories are traffic.
Yeah.
Zitakuwa zimeisha.
Story of the past.
Haikuna. I was like, I will be using the underground roads.
But it is because we're just not doing proper planning. And the leaders who actually say these projects and they promise us these particular projects are not doing anything about it. It is just during the campaigns where they speak very elaborately about these particular things, but when it comes to implementing them, they just don't do it. Yeah. So
what happens? Ama ni pesa hatuna.
Sisi udanganywa tu.
Ni pesa hatuna ama?
Sisi udanganywa tu. Si ati ni nini au nini. Ni kudanganywa tu, sisi udanganywa na tunaingia box na tunakubali tu, sababu sasa tutafanya nini? Ufala yetu tu ndio tukubali. Yeah. So we need to ask for better as Kenyans, and hopefully we shall get better. So we were talking about before we took that small traffic break, we were talking about loan defaulters, and we were talking about tenders that have not been been paid for by the different government institutions, both the local governments or the county governments and the do I call it national government? I almost called it federal government. And we found a disconnect. Number one, in just how the tender process is done. Number two, how the financing of the tenders is done.
Yes.
And number three, how the execution of the tendering is done, and up to how even the work is done. And that is why you will find mtu alichukua tender, and na kuna watu wengi sana by they take these tenders and they win these tenders and they don't even do anything. Ulipatiwa tender ya ku supply government toilets or
Yes.
is it county toilets na tissue. Watu wanaenda kwa choo hapa wanakosa tissue. Sasa wewe tukusaidiaje?
There was a certain video that was doing rounds on social media sometimes back. Just one of our comedians in our country, like yes, he did it in a comedy way, but it really spoke volumes in terms of these issues of tendering and the issues of contracts, and service delivery actually, especially to our government, because he had indicated like amepewa tender ya kufanya barabara.
Yes.
So here is the cash. Alikuwa amebeba pale box ya pesa. So by the time akienda kutoka, akifika hapo kwa mlango, CEO, nipe yangu.
Of course.
Sawa. Akifika hapo sijui nani, give me mine. Akifika hapo, so by the time afike pale kwa kutoa sasa huduma,
hana pesa ya execution.
Si kupenda kwake.
There is no money.
The money that is there. So sometimes you might wonder that this person has been given a very big volume ya tender ya kazi ya kufanya, and then you can see by this tender is a lot. Then saa ya kwenda kufanya ile kazi, this person unajua already, even as he was getting that tender, anajua this is not mine, this is not mine, this is not mine, this is what I'm remaining with. Na hata yeye mwenyewe anataka abaki na nini? Pesa. Anataka abaki na profit. So sasa what they do, they come and give substandard service. Kama ni barabara alikuwa ameambiwa, anakuja na kupigia nini? Carpet. Kale ka thin carpet. Anakupigia hapo, namwambia, fanya kazi yangu. So later on, hii barabara mnatumia like for 2 weeks. It goes back to the state it was before. So now we come back again kutafuta tena nini? Another tender process so that we can also have that road done again.
Now, your friend is very lucky. Or rather, this comedian was showing a very ideal scenario.
Yes.
Where you're actually given the money to go start the work.
Yes.
Do you know there are people who unaambiangwa anza kazi before hata pesa ipatikane. All right?
Yes.
Now, this is the problem. You have a tender, again, like we said, worth 50 million.
Yes.
Now, the inner workings, there's something we call the fluid dynamics of a government tendering process, where you are told, Patricia,
yes,
by the CEO. Let's assume the CEO is Mungala Mbuvi, or one of the directors is Mungala Mbuvi.
Yes.
Ninakwambia sasa, Patricia, we have approved your tender, 50 million.
Yes.
But before you officially get it, mimi ninataka my 10 million. Yes. You've won the tender fair and square.
Yes.
But unaambiwa sasa, kabla uanze, my friend, leta 10 million hapa. Haya, someone else from the government anakuja. It could be a CS or a PS or whoever, or even a director.
Unajua hii ni mimi nimesukuma.
Anakuambia yes, unajua hii ilikuwa iende.
Hii ilikuwa inaenda. Hii ni mimi nimesukuma ujue.
Sasa toa
na kuna ingine inakuja. Kuna ingine inakuja.
Nataka 5 million yangu. So Patricia, maybe out of this 50 million, hata ulikuwa ukule tu ikienda sana 7 million. Na already pesa ndio inachongwa hapa. Hata wewe kama ingekuwa ni wewe, utafanya nini? Some of them actually just take the money, do a little bit of the project, and leave it.
Yeah,
they ensure they have gotten their profits, because that's already 15 million ilienda, akona 35 million to work with. Anachukua 5 million anaweka kwa mfuko yake.
Yes.
Mtafanywa kazi ya 30 million. Hata kama atafanya halfway.
Hata 30 ni mingi. Out of 50 saying atafanya kazi ya 30 million.
Atafanya
What are you saying?
example.
What are you saying?
It's an example.
Okay.
Eh,
But that example, no, you have to
Atawafa-
reduce it to 10.
atawafanyia kazi
Kazi
ya
ya
30
10
million
million,
ama ya 10 million
Yes.
naende. There's a place where close to where I live barabara inatengenezwa saizi. So juzi nimepata na mtu wa bodaboda. Nikauliza mse wa bodaboda, hii barabara imekuwa ikitengenezwa. It's been now over 2 years bwana. Kwani haishi? You know what he told me? Ati contractor alisema pesa imeisha. So I don't know how true it is. Unajua pia wasa bodaboda wanakuanga na stories zao. But I asked him, sasa ikisha alisema pesa ikiongezwa ndio ataendelea na hii kazi. Otherwise the tractors left, the bulldozers, the
So is there a probability of underquoting? He underquoted? No.
I don't know.
Most of the time.
All I know,
no.
All I know is
Yes.
a few months to election. Ndio tutaanza
That road
kuona.
will be done.
Ndio tutaanza kuona ati it will be done. Tutaanza kuona tu tractor tumekuja hapo tunamwaga maji. Barabara kanafagiliwa. Huku kwa sides kuna chimbwa. Sewage zinatolewa, ile matope ilikuwa imekwama. So that now we can see it's working.
Me at least I know I'm coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Just the other day the president promised some road.
Yes.
And he has done it, by the way.
Oh, President Ruto.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you where it is, but
Good for you.
he promised some road there, and it has been done now. 2 months.
Aliweka mikakati.
Kwanza aliweka mikakati alafu
wakatenga.
Yes.
Na wakasema watafanya.
No, and it's really he has done it, by the way.
Okay, and I'm happy for you.
Barabara hiyo barabara imetengenezwa.
I'm happy for
at
you.
At least iko sawa.
Naona siku hizi naona hata ukitembea una vumbi kwa miguu.
Kabisa. But now hapo before
ungekuwa unafika hapa kwa ofisi.
Then you are like, okay, where are you coming from? I'm coming from home.
Okay.
And by the way, that is the state with so many other roads in our country.
Right.
So I'm just hoping that even the government, because I know they have money for this development. I saw the other kwa budget wameweka pesa ya hizi barabara.
Yes.
Let us do it. And again, I was also looking at there's also this report that we had the other day when they were saying that we get loans for development.
Right.
And then we don't do the development. We don't do the roads. I remember there's that road. They were saying that money was already borrowed for that project, but it was so unfortunate that as of that time, ile pesa it is accruing interest. Unajua si ni pesa umekopa, lazima kuna ile interest unatakiwa kulipa.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate when you have borrowed and you have not used that money to do that work.
True.
It becomes just it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
So we need better, and that is why we say as Kenyans we always demand for better service.
So that is the reason why Kenyans are always
up in arms. Okay, not up in arms, but up in the streets. That's why
the
bloggers are always doing AI pictures of leaders bana. Si ati kwa sababu tunachukia leaders wetu. No. It is because we love ourselves more. We would like better for our families, would like better for our children, would like better. Nani hataki kulala mahali pazuri?
Kila mtu anataka kulala pazuri.
Kila
mtu anataka kupita barabara nzuri pia.
I look at pictures of pipeline, and actually I think I saw a picture here on the People Daily. Let me see if I can just scroll to where it is really fast. This picture I saw is of a pipeline na venye kuna katu kuchafu. And I'm sure people have seen these particular pictures where you see hiyo estate ya pipeline, manyumba zimekaribiana sana, line za nguo zimeanikwa in a funny way.
Like it is congested. Yes.
I even asked myself.
Yes, the right word. Yes.
I think that picture is somewhere, but anyway, we've seen these pictures, where you see nyumba ziko over congested, like you've said, ziko very close together.
Yes.
Line za manguo zimepangwa in a certain way. I ask myself, when do these houses get sunlight? I am sure there are children who live in there. Babies, toddlers, infants.
Yes.
When do they get to experience the sunlight? Wanapata vitamin D saa ngapi?
Ile mpaka sasa mtoke mpeleke watoto nje, at least wapigwe na jua kidogo.
Aeration, hewa, oxygen. We need clean breathing air. When do they get to experience this? Drainage. That place stinks. Sewage 24/7. You know?
Sema kanjo wafanyi kazi yao.
Ai bana. We need to have proper candid conversations. So these particular spaces, congested like we've said, sunlight is not getting there. That means it is also very cold. Ni Januari lakini uko kwa nyumba yako umevaa boshori, unajua boshori? Boshori ni kale kakofia.
Kale kakona
Kasweta
hapa juu.
Yes. Umevaa boshori, umevaa earmuffs, you know, because now you don't want your ears to get cold. Umevaa jacket, umevaa scarf, gloves.
So what would be your suggestion?
Ni kwa nyumba yako.
What would be your
proper
suggestion?
Sunlight. Mimi mali naishi sasa hivi, the sunlight is very good. In the morning you wake up, you can walk comfortably in a t-shirt and in shorts and wear slippers. You don't have to look for a sweater and socks. Zile socks thick zinavaliango huko na Eskimo. No, you just wear nice proper socks. I mean, sorry, you wear slippers and you can walk comfortably. You can breathe good air.
So are you saying that if I bought a plot there and I want to build my rentals, I shouldn't, because they need to get aeration?
Actually, where we live, it is controlled construction. You can't, hizo vitu zako unataka kujenga huwezi jenga huko.
So now we are talking of pipeline here. Leave alone where you stay now. We are talking of pipeline where now it is affordable, especially. Remember yesterday we talked about people earning below 100,000,
yes,
right?
Yes,
pesa yake ikikatwa, kwanza huyu ni mwenye anapata 100, it comes down up to 60,000. Now we are talking of people who are not even getting that 100, that getting 70, so ikikatwa anarudi anene. So that is the only place these people can get this. Are you saying that
Mutu
now
pipeline actually ana get 20k, but yes,
are you saying right now that they shouldn't, kama nina plot yangu pale, I shouldn't put up my
I'm not saying that you shouldn't
rentals.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't put up a skyscraper.
And are you telling them not to stay there because no, this is what they can afford?
I'm not telling anyone to move out. I'm not telling landlords now to, you know, if it's possible, you can actually bomwezo manyumba muzijenge afresh.
Oh, that is now your suggestion.
You can to answer your question directly.
Okay.
You can build your skyscraper.
Yes.
But get an architect who understands urban planning.
Yes.
In terms of just how to put up a structure that can hold very many people.
Yes.
But still get enough sunlight. Because there are ways you can
follow the guidelines of constructions actually.
Jenga nyumba ambayo inaweza kapatia watu hewa safi na hewa nzuri na hewa sufficient.
Yes.
Patia watu space ya kuanika nguo. Patia watu nafasi ya kutoka nje wa bask in the sun. Tengeneza space ya watoto kucheza. For example, in pipeline, sijiona space ya watoto kucheza. Sijiona mali kuna field that children can just go play football. Me remember growing up, I used to play a lot of football hapo nje kwa nini outside our compound.
Yes.
And I would go play with my friends. I would call them over or they would call me over. We do football. I would see the girls playing kati. Actually, hata mimi nilicheza kati kidogo. Yeah, you know, we'd go there, play kati, play basketball, play football and many other games that we could play hide and seek, and we would play in safe environments, environments that allowed us to explore our what are they called, explore our skills and our talents. Sasa pipeline niambie pale watoto watacheza football aje? Unless now they carry their football wende wakacheze mali mbali na nyumbani.
Kuna mawanja, but now I think what is coming out is the fact that as a country, and especially now the county government of Nairobi, there's that the urban that is supposed to control the developments in town, in urban areas. I think kuna watu pia wanalalia kazi yao. And again, because this reminds me of also in Mombasa. In Mombasa, the areas of Kisauni, the areas of Bamburi, that is why there is usually that persistent flooding. Because apparently there are people wenye wamejenga katika is it pathway ya maji,
riparian lands.
Yes. So it makes it hard even for the county government, for the government even to help people in terms of when it is flooding. It becomes so hard. So I think, and when you go to the lands, the Ministry of Lands and so forth, you go to the governor and you ask them, okay, why this? Then it's like they will tell you, like, hizi ni nyumba hata mimi mwenyewe nimepata zimejengwa.
Ni kweli? I mean, for instance.
So I don't know whoever issued gave out that license.
Yeah. And by the some of those buildings in pipeline, they are owned by very prominent individuals.
Yes.
Very powerful. Actually, that's the word we should be using. Very powerful individuals.
Yes.
and they were just maximizing them for profits. They were not having you in mind while you were at it. They wanted you to have a place where
you
your
will
children
come there
can play.
with your husband and your kids.
They don't care about you and your kids where you will play. No, they want you to get in there, fit as many as they can of you in there, so that you can all pay rent to the maximum. They were maximized profits. They were not thinking that you know why you will need like a place where she can hang her clothes. No.
So, and now the government officials now wenye sasa wanakupatia the go ahead ende kujenga. Are you saying that is the reason why they need to go back to school? Because
ndio wafikirie vitu kama hizi.
They need to have that in mind, like umempatia license apandishe gorofa yake ya sijui gorofa ngapi 9.
Sasa zingine ni 10 na hakuna elevator.
Amepandisha na hakuna elevator, mwingine apandishe yake. But then now amepewa way forward. You can go, kona kibali hichi hapa. Go. Put on the structure, your structure hii yenye umetupatia, come on, go and do it. And that is the reason why tumeona magorofa mengi
zinaanguka,
yameanguka, watu wanakufa kule, a lot of losses and so forth. Just the other day,
even diseases.
Yes. Just the other day you saw that building in Mombasa.
That had to be destroyed.
Had to put it down because of the security, the safety of the residents around there and the users of the same building.
If we had proper aeration, Patricia, I'll tell you this for a fact, we wouldn't be having some diseases like respiratory diseases, tuberculosis,
it's true.
Pneumonia, because hakuna hewa safi, hakuna light inaingia vizuri, so unaanika nguo zako pale, you're breathing the same moisture, drainage haiko fiti, you're drinking that bad water, you're getting your choleras and the typhoids. It's just a crazy thing.
Have you ever imagined of the people who stay around those areas where there is kunafanywa kuna kware? Kuna kware, such places whereby kuna issues to do with maybe cement,
you're breathing all this, you're getting your cancers.
And you know how cement can be smooth,
Yes.
So like I think there's a lot that the government really needs to put in policies. Come up with policies that are going to help the common mwananchi, because at the end of the day, most of the time it is the mwananchi, the common one, the mama mboga, the bottom. Should I call it that?
The mwananchi wa chini wa kawaida.
Most of the time they are the ones that are really suffering. Yes.
From
these decisions that are made by bad decisions made by our leaders
who are living in Runda and Kitusuru.
Yes.
And Karen.
Wanakaa sehemu kama zile unakoishi kaka.
We've come to the end of the show. Mimi si Karen. But naishi place poa sana.
Okay.
We've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. That is on 88.8 in Nairobi.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in on rgk.co.ke.
90.7 Mombasa, 92.1 Malindi, 92.6 Lamu, 89.5 kule Garissa. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Definitely.
Hasta luego.
We shall definitely do this again tomorrow, bright and no, it will not be bright, but it will be very early. Make sure you're here with us at 6 a.m. Otherwise, for now, we are saying thank you so much and hasta la vista.
It's 9:59.